is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines. If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
Oh, I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks, eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated, they offer free 30-day storage, full-service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com.
For over 16 years, EJDConstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDConstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDConstruction.com.
Welcome to Red Light Therapy, a revolutionary technology perfected by NASA to aid in muscle strengthening and recovery. Red and infrared light has the capacity to penetrate deep into the cell's mitochondria, potentially leading to increased energy, faster recovery, and the optimal performance your body demands. Train, fight, recover.
viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Good afternoon, baby, from beautiful YouthFair here in Dade County in Miami. Yes, come on out, have some fun with us. The doors are now open to the fair because they open at 4 o'clock. So if you happen to be coming on over to the fair, come on by at the expo. We'll be out here. You can see where you see the airplanes, that's where you'll see us. Airplanes and helicopters, right? The copter's still there? Yes, the copter's still there. Okay, they didn't take it. What was it? There you go. There's the copter. There you go. A little copter action, a little plane action. So I will be flying these vehicles right after. I'm going to take one home with me. I figured I'd get a little faster to my house if I use the helicopter, just a little bit. So, even though it's not really a far drive, but hey, what the hell? So we are out here at the fair. Sean Stanley is ready for a pickled lemonade, which I think they're going to be bringing you a little. I don't know. I was talking to him. I said, hey, he actually went and bought a second one. So, he really loves it. And they said, we're going to take care of him. We're going to bring him a little pickled lemonade. So you will get your pickled lemonade. There you go. Nate G is chiming in from Monterey Bay. Love it. I love it. I love it. I was seeing, I think Dougie Fresh was first today, right? Is that true? I think it was, right? If I'm correct, because while I was preparing, I saw the original screen. Brian Walters is first. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. So it was Brian. Okay. All right. There you go. All right. So I know when I was preparing, I forgot.
Yeah, Brian jumped on about 12:27 to let us know that he thought we were having difficulties because we weren't on yet.
Yeah. No, we tweeted it out that we were going to be on 4 to 7. So we did tweet it out. We told you yesterday that we were going to be here 4 to 7. Next week we'll be here Wednesday again 4 to 7. So that's kind of the way it's going to roll.
That's one of the first times where you actually said the right time when we were going to be somewhere.
Yes,
because usually you're like same time, same bad channel. Boop.
I know, and I always get it confused, and I always screw it up every single time. So I didn't screw it up this time, but yes, and we'll be here again next Wednesday 4 to 7. Today we will give away 2 family 4-packs again. So remember to send in your full name, your email address, and your cell phone number, and DM me on Twitter at Big O Show or on Instagram at Big O Radio Show. Okay. And what else? Or email bigoradioshow@yahoo.com. And if I contact you back and tell you you won, you won. So we're going to pick 2 more winners. So get it done. Send it in if you want a chance to win and come out to the fair. A family 4-pack, so you get to bring a couple of folks, save yourself some money, and have some fun at the fair, man. All the food out there. Today is $5 day. Also, it's really cheap to get in. So yes, it is. You are correct. You are correct, sir. So there you go. And we're uploading a little preview of the fair too. I just took a little whiz around the fair in a golf cart and had some fun with it, so you guys can check it out yourselves if you want to check out what's inside the fair. Man, it seems like they've got more entertainment than they've ever had, by the way, because it is, brother, this Midway is sprawling. I mean, everything, and I got to see a lot of the stuff, from the petting zoos to, the ice rink. They got the ice show here. They got the circus. They've got so many things going on. And then the expo with all the kids. And let me tell you, out over the bridge, you're going to see all kinds of landscaping. Okay. So I was thinking of our friends at Cutter's Edge Pro. They might have some future, folks that could help them out in landscaping there, because some of the kids put together some amazing stuff. So it was actually really, really cool. That's the other thing that's that's actually really fun about the fair is that you get to see a lot of the kids, doing their thing with their crafts and their arts, and that's always nice to see. J-Town saying nice Bitcoin pump today. Oh, you know it, baby. It started last night. Late last night, like around 11, I think. All of a sudden, it started to go up to 200 and 300 and 400. And then all of a sudden, before you knew it, it was over 28,000 in the middle of the night. Because I remember I got up in the middle of the night and I checked my phone, and it was over 28,000. And so it has been over 28,000 for the remainder of the day so far, which, I mean, the incredible resiliency of Bitcoin has been awesome. 28,390 right now. So it got up to 28.6, I think, maybe even 7. So it's trying to get cross that 29,000 threshold. And I put out a poll. Do you think that Bitcoin will make it over 30,000 by midnight? I believe Friday I put. And we're only on Wednesday right now, but I just got a feeling that there was going to be, because it looked like it found the floor here for a little bit, and eventually it's going to skyrocket. So hey, man, I know we're about, I think it's like 350 days or something, or no, 380 days from the halving. And, from here on out, all you're going to see is Bitcoin's going to go up and up and up. And by this time next year, oh my God, I don't even want to know where. Well, I do want to know, but I can't wait to see where it's going to be at, because it's going to explode. Rosendo says next Wednesday, the tickets admission price is $5. Can't beat that. Yep. Today, every Wednesday is $5. So next Wednesday, you can also go for $5. Today, you can go for $5. I don't think you can beat that. Great entertainment too. What else do we have? Kyle Cockrell is in the house. GP Trap is in. Alex Palenzuela is in. And he's asking about the pickled lemonade already. GP Trap says you're in drive time, Big O. Yes. Well, it depends on where they're at, GP Trap. If you're in California right now watching me, we're not in drive time, so depends on where they're at. But if they're on the East Coast, yeah, we are in drive time for them. John Padilla. What else do we have? Nate G, J-Town, Ray Sosa. Thank you all for tuning in. Rosendo, Jewel. I'll be the first to say Lamar's not coming to play for the Dolphins. There you go. Say it. Ray says, so does Ira Winderman still need to see the last Heat play against the Raptors and the Knicks to know who they are? I don't know. I don't know how much more Ira Winderman needs to keep pushing the field goal post back every single time. I don't know what he's waiting for. You know what I mean? That one I can't answer. He's the only one that can answer that. And it's kind of last night. And let's talk a little bit about last night. Embarrassing, losing to the Raptors 106-92. And, the laziest thing is to say that they're without Butler. But the more honest thing to say is this is just a mediocre team, is what it is. And I get it. Tyler Hero had a terrific performance, 33 points, shot 6 of 10 from three-point range. Bam did not play well. 7 of 18 is not what I'm expecting from a guy that needs to step up. 21 points. He had the 12 rebounds and the 4 assists, but 7 of 18 for a guy his size is unacceptable. And for a guy with his athleticism, Duncan Robinson will never be anything ever again, pretty much. He had his window of opportunity. He made his money, and now you've put him on the bench forever. And for him to find, you're asking, Oladipo was an all-star. Did you know that? Way back, right? Right. And he's had injuries and setbacks. Can he find his way back? Okay. So when was Duncan Robinson an all-star? So when was he a great player? So think about this. You're a mediocre, you're a backup, you're a rotational player, and you have a 2-year run like nobody's had, right? And all of a sudden you get this big deal. And then now you've been off the bandwagon for a while now. And you're expected to get back on track and be the guy you saw for a flash for a certain amount of time. Hard to ask that of him. So Duncan Robinson, was he 1 of 4 points? It's just not a good team, man. It's just a mediocre team, unfortunately. And they really need, to clean house. And I hate to say it, but that's what they have to do. They have to clean house. Everybody goes, except maybe Bam and Tyler if you want. That's it. Outside of that, everybody's fair game. And you've got to unload. And that Jimmy Butler salary is just going to get worse and worse and worse. Because if the team is not really that good, he's not going to be that motivated. So as he gets older and wears down in the next 3 years, he's going to miss a crap ton of games. Think about this. Your season's on the brink and you go and miss yesterday? Why? Because you got to play today against the Knicks? Well, what are they paying you for, dude? They're paying you the max to take games off? This is why I tweeted out yesterday that if you just guarantee salaries, you're guaranteeing yourself a failure because you don't need to work as hard anymore when you've got your money in the bank. They've got to pay you. And you can't enforce it. There's no way of enforcing it. You've guaranteed the money. And then you've got this cheap-ass excuse of load management. And then what are you going to do? And you've created this. Popovich created this crap. And now you're ruining your entire league because of it. Now the regular season means even less in the NBA because people don't take it seriously at all. I don't even know why people would buy season tickets to go to the NBA anymore. I think it's actually you're a dumb consumer if you're buying tickets to the NBA now. Seriously. That's not a smart consumer. You're not getting your money's worth. Not in the regular season. I mean, Jimmy Butler takes the game off yesterday. Your season's on the line, dude. You're not that good. You don't want to end up in a play-in game. That may not end well for you. And you got to take it off. A neck. But the neck won't be there for tonight. Tonight he'll be fine. And look, dude, I know that Jimmy sells out. He's awesome. He's been great. But that's not the point. The point is he has the luxury of taking off whatever he wants and do whatever he wants. And you can't do anything about it. So what are you going to keep doing? You keep going down this path? Boy, the NBA, this is a team that's 8-9 since the All-Star break. They've been blown out by double figures 6 times in the last 17 games. That only happened 7 times in the last 59 games in the first half of the season. Stole that stat from Anthony Chang in the Miami Herald. This is just a mediocre bunch, dude. And this Jimmy contract is only going to get worse and worse and worse as time goes on because he can't get healthier. He can only wear down more. And he wears down because he can only play one way. That's the problem with Jimmy, unfortunately. He has to play all out. He has to play blue collar. He has to attack the rim. He doesn't have the ease of other superstars that can score at will from the outside and have a consistent shot. Doesn't exist in Jimmy's repertoire. So he has to work a lot harder. This is a really bad situation for the Miami Heat, unfortunately. And I have faith that Riley and Harrison will figure this out. But it's going to take a couple of years, folks. This is not going to be a good team for a while because I don't think that they can turn over this roster that quickly. And that's the sad part. You got to unload that Lowry salary. I mean, that thing is a cancer. Wow, that was a catastrophically stupid contract. That was just wow. Where they've got to be kicking themselves in the ass constantly behind the scenes. Pat Riley has got to be super pissed that he made that move. He may never show it in public. We may never know about it ever. But behind the scenes, the Arison family and Riley have got to be absolutely furious with that move because it set the entire franchise back. And the best years of Jimmy that you were getting, you ruined them, unfortunately, because you never really got a star next to Jimmy. By the way, that was also the knock when you acquired Jimmy. Will you acquire a star next to him? And they never were able to do that. They never were able to get a LeBron, a Durant, whatever. No Damian Lillard, nothing. No Bradley Beal, nothing. They were never ever able to get that superstar next to him, that player that is better than him, Donovan Mitchell, whatever. And that's been really, in the end, that's what did you in, because then you had to do it other ways with Lowry and a bunch of young kids that you hope to develop into better players than what they were. And you did, but they didn't turn into any kind of stars. And that's the problem with some of that stuff that Miami is doing nowadays and signing some of their young guys. Those guys aren't good enough to sign. Those are guys they can find all over again in the summer league and add another guy. And, like I've said before, you have such a great coach. Don't commit to players that aren't worth committing to. Sign one-year deals with people. You have the best chef in the NBA. The guy knows how to put together a meal with whatever you give him. Eric Spoelstra is the best. So just keep one-year deals until you can get that star and stay liquid. And that's what they need to do, unfortunately. But you can't keep committing to these kids that aren't really the answer. Unfortunately. It is what it is. So just ugly stuff from the Miami Heat last night. It's depressing to watch, man. I mean, the only good thing for the Heat last night, Dwayne Wade. Right? No, he got inducted into the Hall of Fame. Although he could come back and play way better than Kyle Lowry.
You think Pat Riley's like, look, we'll put you on. We got you. Come on, Dwayne. Come on.
Come back, and we'll bench Lowry for you. Yes. So yeah, yesterday it was announced that Dwayne Wade has been elected into the Basketball Hall of Fame. It's a report. It hasn't been yet. This weekend they're expecting during the national championship to announce it. But Dwayne Wade, along with Dirk Nowitzki, Greg Popovich, and then the international inductees will be Paul Gasol, Tony Parker, and Becky Hammon. That is so cool that Becky Hammon, well-deserved Becky Hammon getting in as a player, as a female coach for WNBA. She won the championship this year as an NBA coach. I mean, her resume is as good as it gets, period. So I'm happy for Becky Hammon that she's getting in. Tony Parker and Paul Gasol are guys that obviously you would imagine that those guys would be worthy of getting in to the Pro Basketball Hall of Fame. So I'm thinking, we're going to go this summer to go cover Zach Thomas getting into the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Yes.
We got to go to Springfield.
How far is that?
Massachusetts? Oh, what date?
Oh, I thought you meant like when we're doing that. I'm sorry, I misunderstood what you're saying.
I think we got to go cover Dwayne Wade.
Okay, yeah. I'm sorry, I misunderstood. I thought you were talking about going from Zach to that. I was like,
well, I'm just saying if we're
a bit of a drive.
I've never been to the Basketball Hall of Fame. That's a bucket list thing for me.
But when do they do that ceremony?
I don't know. I gotta look it up. Look it
like
up.
It's
there
during the finals or something.
I think it's I know. It's kind of like a quick turnaround for us in the next couple of months. You know what I'm saying? But would you guys like us to do that? Right? I think it would be cool for us to go out there and cover it. I think it would be really cool to cover an event like that. So yeah, I think we might want to do that. Just give me the date. I think it's like in June, actually. I think you're right. I think it's in the NBA Finals. During the NBA Finals or maybe the conference finals. Yeah, I think it's the conference finals because one conference final is the lottery, right? Or something like that. Or no, they did that already, right? No, they haven't done that.
It's Saturday, August 12th.
Oh, wow. Jesus Christ, dude.
They changed it because
I can't go.
from Labor Day, the week after Labor Day, it used to be.
I can't. Wait a minute. Hold on a second.
It will be at the Mohegan Sun in Connecticut on Friday, August 11th.
Oh, wow. See, August 11th, that's Metallica. Montreal. Damn. Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Montreal. I'm in Montreal the 9th through the 11th, I want to say. Let me make sure of this for Metallica. The hell, dude.
Yeah, it's a new thing because now they're doing
August.
the summer date to make it more accessible to fans and guests.
Okay. Yeah, August 11th. I'm in Montreal. I'm in Montreal. And if I didn't spend
Actually, the actual inductions are August 12th. Ceremony started August 11th. The day after is when the enshrinement ceremony will take place the following day in Springfield's historic Symphony Hall. So they're having a enshrinement weekend beginning at the Mohegan Sun in Connecticut, and it will end with the actual enshrinement ceremony the following day in Springfield's historic Symphony Hall.
Okay. All right. I wish I could go actually now. I wanted to go to that. But now the problem is that I've got the concert now. I would have to move. I would have to go to another concert that isn't in Montreal for Metallica. That would be a pain in the ass. Karen, she won the 4-pack. You're welcome, Karen. So true about fans going to the game with the load management BS. It would be like someone buying flowers on Valentine's Day with an empty vase and a note. Florist taking a day off from pruning. I mean, it's just it's insulting to your paid audience that your players aren't going to play because they need rest. So ridiculous. It really is. It's disrespectful is what it is. Oh, here folks, yeah, give me your money, but we're not going to give you the product. That's basically what the NBA is telling you. No, you can pay for it. So not only do you overpay for these products nowadays, but you're not even getting the product. That's amazing. Like you're going to go to dinner down in downtown Miami. You know, you pay for parking, this, that. You walk in and they tell you Jimmy Butler's not playing. It's like, okay, this is bull. You know, I spent all this money and he's just taking a day off. Well, doesn't he have days off as it is? Doesn't he have months off also? I'm sorry, I have my days off. I don't. None of us really get to tell our jobs, hey, yeah, I just want to be off right now. That doesn't happen, dude. Normal people have to go to work or they're sick. They're like legitimately sick. But very few people in the world can actually say, you know, today I kind of feel tired. You know, Sean, you never feel tired when you wake up, right? No. Because I never feel tired. I mean, look at my eyes. Do they look like I'm ever tired? It's so insulting. Basketball, and you think about this, here's the bigger part. The commissioner. You know, after the Donald Sterling thing, he was put on a pedestal. Okay? What has he done since? And let's be honest now. Now, you know, hindsight is everything. We want to give Mr. Silver all the credit for handling that whole mess with the Clippers. But how else do you treat a racist? It's the way you should have treated him. You should have kicked his ass out. You should force him to sell the team. I'm sorry. You did your job. Oh, Adam Silver was fantastic with all that. Behind the players, all that. And then what? What has gone on in the NBA since? What's so great about Adam Silver now? That he has allowed the entire league to be diseased by this crap of just taking games off? And now you're just ripping off your fan base? Is that what Adam Silver is going to be known for? For ripping off fan bases? Because that's basically what it is. And there's no other way of looking at it. You're basically, you have given all your teams a license to lie to your audience. That's disgusting, dude. Absolutely disgusting. By the way, RedRecover.com is a proud sponsor of our program. We've been telling you about Red Recover now for a while. And folks, now when you go to the website, you're going to notice a little something different there. They have switched over now, and they are emphasizing a lot of the doggy stuff. Okay, so, but we still have the human wraps, so you can contact them on the contact page. So if you're looking for elbow or knee or shoulder, but the hats are in. FDA approved, all that stuff. They're already, it was already approved by the FDA. Problem is, they got a new hat. Not the lights, not the red light stuff, not the real stuff that works, but they got a new hat that they put it in. And so the FDA had to retest it again with the new hat. You know what I mean? Which is the same results as stupid, but whatever. So they've got the new hat in. So those of you that are looking to grow your hair back like me, okay, go to redrecover.com. Okay, use our code Big O. But if you're looking for doggy wraps, they have them there, man. And the doggy wraps are amazing. So if you own a dog, big dog, small dog, some dogs have hip issues, and you want them to live a more comfortable life. So if you happen to have a dog that's having some hip issues, or they're starting to get older and you want to avoid that, go to redrecover.com. Those wraps are just absolutely amazing. I've told you about it. The wraps can help you optimize your workouts. The hats can help you grow your hair. Remember, if you've been bald for a long, long time, it's not really, I'm not going to say it's not going to grow back, because there's a chance that it can grow back. Of course, there's a chance. But there's less of a chance if you haven't had hair for years and years. But if you recently just started losing hair, and you want to try to revitalize it like I have right here, the natural yarmulke, go to redrecover.com. Okay, folks, and tell them that Big O sent you there. And you can hit the contact page if you need to ask them any questions. Ed and all the great people out there, they're just absolutely awesome. redrecover.com. Dougie Fresh says, from the sounds of your calendar as a friend, may I suggest you look into something called load management? Metallica's coming out with a new album called 72 Season. Yes, I know. They just released a partial track of it. Was it yesterday or the day before that I heard it? One of those two. But yeah. We got Frankie Fresco with a little love on the super chat. Remember, you guys can always make a donation through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show at Cash App or Venmo. And Frankie, nice. Frankie just made a Bitcoin donation too on Cash App. Thank you, sir. That is very nice of you, Frankie. You know those are my favorite donations. A little Bitcoin action. He's got AEW. He wants a prediction. Welcome back, Adam Cole. Who we got, Adam Cole or Daniel Garcia? Also, since WrestleMania is this weekend, who you got, Cody Rhodes or Roman Reigns? Okay. All right. Well, Adam Cole versus Daniel Garcia. Yeah. I got to say something. I got to go with Adam Cole because Daniel Garcia just doesn't sound like a wrestler to me. Daniel Garcia, I hate to say it, but, you sound like a A Cuban coffee maker.
Well, actually, I think he's a sports entertainer, if I'm not mistaken.
Daniel Garcia sounds like a sports entertainer.
Yes.
Doesn't sound like a wrestler to me. See, Adam Cole sounds like a wrestler, like a guy that's out to kick your ass. So I'm going to go Adam Cole over Daniel Garcia in AEW Wednesday. Now, you want WrestleMania? This one's the easiest one. You know, I used to watch a show with the wife called Renegade. And Lorenzo Lamas was in that show. His name was Reno Reigns. And so he was a badass because he was, you know, the law was chasing him, but yet he was out there solving crimes and helping people out. And so I think Cody Rhodes is going to fall short because Roman Reigns is going to dominate. Okay, so I am going to, Roman will rain some pain on Cody Rhodes. Okay, so Cody is going down. Reno Reigns / Roman Reigns, and I'm going with Adam Cole. What do I get? A 1 thumbs up, 2 thumbs down?
1 out of 2 ain't bad.
What did I get wrong?
Roman Reigns. Cody Rhodes going to win that one.
Cody Rhodes going to win that one? You sure, huh?
Yep. It starts the fracture of the bloodline.
Whatever that means.
Exactly. Matt knows what I'm talking about.
Frankie, thank you for the love on the super chat. Thank you for a Bitcoin donation on Cash App. Can't ever get enough of that. All right, let's do it. Matt Verderame. Let's step in to the huddle next.
Let's huddle up with Matt Verderame. The Huddle is brought to you by RedRecover.com. RedRecover.com's wraps and pads are designed to deliver maximum benefits with each treatment anywhere you go. Go to RedRecover.com to learn more about red light with videos, blog posts, and over 40 years of medical research to treat pain, inflammation, and overall well-being. Here's NFL reporter Matt Verderame.
There he is, the man, the myth, the legend that is Matt Verderame as we step in to the huddle. Good afternoon, sir. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm at the fair, bro. You know, come on. You know, it's like elephant ears, rides, you know. Can you beat that? Like, this is my job. You know?
Good job.
Right, exactly. You know, it's a beautiful thing. Can't complain. So life is really good. Plus Bitcoin's you know, starting to make its way to 29,000. So, you know, all is good in the world right now. So let me ask you, all is not good in Lamar Jackson's world. And I got to tell you something. I want to credit Deion Sanders because he went out and I haven't talked about this yet, but I want to talk with you about it because he came out and was like, yo, Lamar, you got to stop, bro. You're answering all these fools. Why are you dealing with these people? And to me, I think Lamar is making this an even bigger fiasco for himself in the process because it's kind of ridiculous that you find yourself every day arguing with fans on social media about what kind of player you are, which is not something that Tom Brady or whoever, bro, any quarterback in the history of time, they don't spend their time on social media trying to argue with people. I don't know how much more you can mishandle your career like Lamar Jackson has.
He says to stop. He has to stop. And he has to have somebody in his corner who just says to him, look, you're not helping yourself. You are doing yourself no favors by going on Twitter and arguing with people and trying to explain yourself on social media. Anybody who's been on social media for 10 minutes will tell you that trying to argue on the platform is insane. Okay? Now, when you are somebody who every word you say or tweet or type is going to be examined and talked about and twisted and gone over, you are only setting yourself up for failure in terms of trying to communicate your point.
Amen.
And so I think if you're Lamar Jackson, You need somebody not named Ken Francis in your corner talking to you, saying, man, enough. Get off of Twitter. Let somebody else handle that page. Get off Instagram, all of it. Go out, get an NFLPA certified agent. And by the way, to this point, because I've seen, and I've even had a few people ask me this, like a lot of fans will say, well, why do you push the agent thing? Why does it matter? Why does it matter? Look,
Scott.
It matters because in this case, especially,
quarterback,
you need somebody who represents you when you are this much of a public figure. And not only in negotiations of contracts, but in negotiations of public opinion. He is failing miserably in both of those instances, in getting a new deal and public opinion, and it's starting to become a major, major, major problem for him.
I got two words for you. Bradley Beal. And I say that because do you know what happened with Bradley Beal with one of the fans that he's being investigated in and all that? Do you know anything about that?
Yeah.
Okay, Bradley is a great kid, and so is Lamar Jackson. But if you get into that swamp that is fans and people complaining, and you're going to argue with people in the stands, or you're going to argue with people on Twitter, it's going to trigger something, and then you're going to be put in a position that's not Bradley Beal, that he would knock the guy's hat off and tell him, hey, I don't play for your bet or whatever, which, dude, I totally understand Bradley Beal's frustrations. And I know that dude is a jagoff that was, giving Bradley Beal, some beef. But the problem is now Bradley Beal is in trouble because he got baited. And eventually, no matter how good of a person you are, you will get baited if you continue down this path. And I don't care who you are. We have watched people get in trouble with fans in the stands or on social media or anything that's along those lines. And to me, Bradley Beal is a beautiful example for Lamar Jackson to say, yo, bro, back away. Just leave everything alone.
People that come after professional athletes, whether it be at a game, at a stadium, you name it, they largely have nothing to lose. They don't care because nobody knows that guy's name. Nobody cares about that guy. Some anonymous drunk clown, 9 times out of 10, screaming obscenities with face paint on from the 8th row. Okay? Nobody cares about that guy. Everybody's going to focus on the reaction from the athlete because A, cameras are all over the athlete all the time, and B, that's the star. That's the famous guy. I think a lot of times fans, especially in arenas, stadiums, they go way too far with the things they do. And a lot of times I don't blame the player for turning around and saying something. The problem is you're going to be the one who eats it. You're going to be the one who gets fined or suspended or has to apologize. And meanwhile, this guy, maybe he gets banned from the stadium. Maybe there's but nobody cares. Nobody's going to remember that. Nobody's going to be bothered by that, right? So I think a lot of times, as hard as it is, and frankly, at times, as unfair as it is, you have to have that restraint. You have to be able to just walk away and say, you know what? It's not worth it. And we saw, as you mentioned, Bradley Beal wasn't able to do that. Lamar Jackson, not to that extent, obviously, but also has had trouble doing that on social media.
Yeah. No, he's already he told the guy to eat a D already. If you remember, 4 months ago or whatever it was, and he got kind of, he got called out for that. And it was like, yo, dude, you got to be smarter than that. And it just, it's amazing. And the sad part is if his mom is really involved, she can't, either she doesn't see it or she can't reel him in. But that's the bigger problem. It doesn't seem like there's anybody around that can help him and guide him, or he doesn't feel like listening to anybody.
Right.
I don't know which one it is. I'm not exactly sure.
I think at some point here, whether he wants to or not, he needs to accept the fact that the way he's going about all of this is not working because he's sitting without a long-term contract. and he can sit there and feel like he's not getting the proper value in contract offers from Baltimore. Lamar, you're not getting them from anybody.
Right.
Like nobody.
Nobody's
You
interested.
are on the market essentially with protections because of the tag. You are on the market. Nobody's offering you a contract. I mean, I think it's nuts. A team like the Commanders, who have screwed over their fans for 25 years and basically live down the street, aren't even interested in Lamar Jackson, but they're not. They're not.
Well, because Matt, we also have to get to the realization of this too. It's not so much that you got to be interested in him. You also have to be interested in completely changing your offense for him, because you're not going to get a pass happy offense. You just can't. When you sign Lamar, you're not, well, hey Lamar, listen, we only want you running maybe 2 or 3 times in a game, and we want you running just because you have to run. We want you to make a living from the pocket. That's never going to happen. So Ron is going to have to be, well, yeah, no, I'm going to change my whole offense. We're going to go with a running offense now. And that's the trick. See, that's the beauty of Baltimore, and that's the beauty of John Harbaugh. He is married to it. He is more than willing to stay with that kind of an offense. You know what I mean? And that, let me tell you something, Matt, you know this, you cover the league enough. There aren't a lot of coaches, and there's certainly a lot of offensive coordinators that want to really coach that kind of an offense.
No,
I got to be honest.
No, I mean, you're right. You're right. I think some teams ought to give it a shot based on the fact that they are
no production,
a waste of time as a contender. I mean, Washington, I use as the example because they're 40 minutes down the Beltway, and they've stunk for a quarter of a century, and they have Sam Howell as a quarterback. Like, if I'm Washington, it's worth it, you know. But you're right. I mean, you need to reinvent your offense. You need to spend upwards of $200, maybe $250 million in guaranteed money. You have to give away 2 first-round picks, and you need to be confident that the player you're getting is not a guy who's going to miss 5 games a year.
By the way, and now you got to get rid of Sam Howell, because he can't run his offense. So if he does get injured, then you've got to change the offense for Sam Howell. You know what I mean? So it just becomes that's why Baltimore has 2 Pro Bowl, quarterbacks. Because when Lamar goes down, they have the other Pro Bowl quarterback that can run the same kind of offense.
Tyler Huntley being a Pro Bowler is one of the all-time. I'll digress. Good for him. Look, I would say this though. This is one of these things, because obviously everywhere I talk, we talk about Lamar, and rightfully so.
Of course.
I don't know that this is going to be resolved before we get into training camp. Like, I don't know, because let's just play this out. Let's say we go to the draft. He's still on the Ravens. We go through the draft, and nobody offers him a contract by mid-May. We get to mid-May, and teams at that point now, you're in OTAs. You're in your program. Okay. At that point, the horse is out of the barn. I don't know that anybody is going out of their way to go after Lamar Jackson at that point. So now let's just say we ride right through the tag deadline, which I believe is July 15th. If he doesn't sign the tag, if he doesn't sign a long-term deal at that point, he cannot sign one, not only with Baltimore, with anybody until the following offseason. So if he's sitting there on August 1st and he hasn't signed the tag, they didn't come to an agreement, and he says, trade me, Baltimore's not going to trade him. I mean, they'd only be able to trade him on a 1-year contract.
Right, exactly.
No team in the world's giving them 3 first-round picks for a 1-year contract. So then if you're the Ravens, you're compelled to say, look, you're going to make $34 million on the tag this year. Excuse me, $32.4 million on the tag this year. We're going to wait this thing out because we don't think you're going to miss every single game. But what about this has been orthodox? What about this has been normal? Like, what if Lamar Jackson just says, to hell with you, I'm not showing up?
I think that's what's going to happen, man. I think he doesn't. I think he doesn't sign the tag. I think he's completely frustrated with the situation. I think he feels completely disrespected, and I also feel like he's confused. Like, he's the only one in the entire league that thinks he deserves a fully guaranteed contract, and he doesn't really understand where owners are coming from. You just heard say, I don't have a problem with the money, but not the guarantees. That I have a problem with. And so there's a disconnect, and I feel bad for him because I think there's a level of a lack of reality for him right now, unfortunately, and that's where the agent might have brought a little bit more reality to the game.
Yeah, and that was kind of my whole point. Was I really think we're headed toward a situation where he might just say, "I'm not playing. I don't care. I'm not going to play." And at that point, I don't know what you do, because then like if that happens, and look, this is a whole lot of assumptions, but if that were to happen, then you start looking at like, okay, he's missed time in 2 years, and he didn't play for a season, and who is he coming back? I mean, if I were his agent, I would sit him down right now and say, look, if you want to wait till after the draft and see if a team strikes out in the draft and they want to come after you, fine. I don't think that's bad business. But let's set a deadline, Lamar, May 15th, okay? If you don't have an offer by May 15th, it is time to accept the reality that you are not getting the offer you want. You are not getting it. So let's go back to the Ravens. Let's kiss and make nice, and let's make the best deal we can make. Because if you don't sign a long-term deal with them, you are seriously risking your future. And I just don't know what the argument is at that juncture not to sign there. And the Ravens want to sign him. This isn't a thing where the Ravens don't want to sign him. They have tried to. So I just really think if he doesn't sign with them, unless he gets an offer that to this point has not been coming, I think he is doing himself an unbelievable disservice.
I agree. So let me ask you this. Here's a trick question for you, because you said May. So, Doggy, what happens in late April and this thing's bitter and nobody's doing anything, and there are no deals out there. Nobody's offering anything. If you're the Ravens and you're going into this draft, dude,
yep.
Do you not just say, we got to take a quarterback here? We have no choice, because if this young man wants to hold out for the rest of the year, I know he's a Pro Bowler, but we can't really count on Huntley. So we got to go get ourselves a guy. So you're the Baltimore Ravens. Do you go, okay, wait a minute. Yeah, at number 22, I might be thinking about a quarterback. Or in the second round, am I thinking, a quarterback? What do you do if you're Baltimore and you have no progress with Lamar at the end of April?
I don't know that I would draft a quarterback based on where they are in the draft. Now, you could argue, hey, if Herndon Hooker's sitting there in the second round, do you take him?
I would.
I would too.
I love him in the second round. God, that's a great project. That's a great project in the second round.
I don't know if he's getting the second round, especially that deep in the second round.
Right.
He's 25, coming off an ACL. So, those are the downsides. The upside is that kid can throw the football. And he's coming out of a system where he lit it up with Josh Heupel. But in any event, if I'm them and that situation presents itself, then yeah. Am I doing it in the first round? Probably not. But I will say this. If I'm the Ravens, I am absolutely thinking about, okay, so now what happens here if we get to whatever their artificial deadline is in their head, whether it's June, whether it's July? I mean, would they go out and sign somebody like Carson Wentz and say, all right, fine, that's the route we're going to go? Would they go out and sign? I think Matt Ryan is beyond it.
Oh no, and isn't? No, it was the other guy, Darnold, that signed with San Francisco. Yes. Wentz is still out there. You are correct.
So I mean, or would you go out and Bridgewater, and just say, look, I mean, you obviously Miami fans are very familiar with Teddy. I think it's at least a thought. Now, I do think they would try to go as far as they could with Tyler Huntley. I think they believe they can win some games with him, and I think they can win some. But reality says, look, are you a playoff team with him? Probably not.
Oh.
Right? Probably not. You're maybe a 7-win team. So would they, knowing the quarterback class next year is almost generational, would they say, if that's the way it shakes, that's the way it shakes. Eric DeCosta's not losing his job. John Harbaugh's not losing his job.
That's true.
I mean, they have stability. So
that's a great point, because some coaches and some front offices would say, holy shit, this is going to cost us our jobs. Those guys, not at all. Not at all. It's not going to affect them one bit whatsoever. And, it's a great point you bring up, because if you go with Huntley, it's not that you're waving the white flag, because that's not – John Harbaugh's teams don't do that. They play hard no matter what, no matter how many people they have injured. You're always going to get a tough game from the Ravens.
Always.
But you are going to end up with a higher pick for sure. It's just the way it is, because you don't have a quarterback. That kid's not anything special.
They are in a brutal spot, and they've done everything they can publicly to keep saying, we love Lamar, we love Lamar, we want Lamar back. But at some point, like, you can ask somebody to the dance all you want, but if they don't say yes, like, you're going to the dance alone. Okay. Now, the Ravens right now, they're going stag. Now I don't know. This could just turn into one big, massive game of chicken in August, where they just say, you got 32.4 sitting there in front of you. You don't want it? You don't want $2 million a game? Fine. Don't leave it on the table, man. And maybe his principles at some point just become, hey, listen, I love my principles. We're not for $2 million a week. Now
you're going into Le'Veon Bell territory,
right,
that you're just going to give away money that you'll never make up again.
Yeah, I mean, how'd that go? So this is the I have seen so many people say in our business, well, he'll make it up in the future. No, he won't. No, he won't. You're talking about the last 2 years. He could have been on his second contract already. Could have and should have been.
Should have been, right.
Even if he had signed back then, let's just say for $42 million a year. Okay. If that was $5 and $42 a year. Okay. If I'm doing quick math in my head, I believe it's 100. I believe it's what? 230. It's 230. If he got $120 million guaranteed, he's generationally wealthy already.
I know.
And he's already working through his extension, like toward another contract. What he's doing is costing him not just some millions, tens of millions.
Yeah.
And it's not getting any better.
Yeah, and by the way, he comes back this year and he's forced to play on that 1 year and he blows out his knee. You could have had your deal 2 years ago that would have given you all the guarantees, and then you blow out your knee, and guess what? Now nobody's going to want you after that, and then you're RG3 all of a sudden again, And
he's making less money this year on the tag than Ryan Tannehill's making. Ryan Tannehill is making more money. Daniel Jones just got paid. Daniel Jones isn't half the quarterback Lamar Jackson is. He's not even close.
And he's in 40.
He's getting 40 a year. Like, this is. At some point, somebody just has to sit down with him and say, look, man, this is just nonsensical. What you're doing, you can think you're right all you want, but that's not paying the bills here. You're not right, because nobody else agrees with you in the league based on action, not words.
Right.
Action.
All right. Another thing that is going on in the NFL, the agreement, they want to play maybe a second Thursday night game for some teams and flex it in. This is as bad an idea as it gets. For years, I've said you need 2 bye weeks, one for every Thursday night opponent. You have your bye week before the Thursday night. That way you have your 10 days. You play your Thursday, and then you have another 10 days to rest, and it's beautiful. And then you have your other bye week. You do this now, you are going to put some teams at some serious risk in the second half of the season. And while you're trying to showcase it, you could be ruining their playoff chances too at the same time, because injuries, and they're going to wear down, and all that kind of stuff that goes with it. For a league that says that they want to take care of the players, they constantly remind us that they don't give a shit about the players.
It's one of the worst ideas I've ever heard from a sports league, and this is a league that enjoys calling its first playoff foray Super Wild Card Weekend. Okay, which remains one of the dumbest names ever. The obvious thing is player safety. That is the obvious, how could you even consider this type thing? But there are multifaceted issues here. Number one is beyond player safety. That's great for fans. I'm sure fans are going to love that. Hey, we got tickets to a game, coming into a game. Oh, by the way, now it's been flexed to Thursday night, which, of course, they've tabled until talks in May. If I was a fan with season tickets, I'd be furious. You're going to flex these games to Thursday night. What if I mean, I know people that, and I'm sure you do too, that drive
Hotel, plane tickets, everything, bro. Yeah.
That's a whole day. That's an event. I don't know. Look, you flex a game to Sunday night. Okay, it's a weekend. I can live with it. Thursday night, that's brutal. Second of all, forget even the flexing part of this. Who are you going to put on these Thursday night? Because now they have this thing where it's like, well, you can be on multiple Thursday nights, just regularly scheduled. Who the hell is going to be on these games? Well, it's going to be the best teams. That's right. They're not going to put the Cardinals on there twice. It's going to be the Bengals and the Eagles and the Chiefs and the Bills and the Dolphins and the Niners. And you're going to hurt your best teams. These teams are going to now be more beat up. These teams are going to have more to deal with in terms of, hey, we got to play a lesser game because we can't game plan as much as we need to. We got to have less time to recover, less time to travel if it's a road game. That is a horrific idea. Yeah. And look, the NFL, I get it. It's about money. It's a business fight. That is so dumb. It's impossible. And yet they're really going to go ahead with this. Whether or not they put in the flexing, we'll see. But you're going to see teams with multiple Thursday night games. And to me, if there's ever an issue for the players union to go absolutely berserk about, and I think pretty much get unanimous support from fans, this is it. I don't know that you'd have too much pushback from anybody on this one.
Yeah, guaranteed your favorite team is going to be a part of this.
Oh, they're going to play 3 of them because mind you, they're going to open the season on Thursday night.
Yeah.
So then it's all, and that doesn't count because it's not on a short week.
Right.
So, you can bet your rear end they're playing 3 Thursday night games, and I'm sure whoever they play, if it's the Eagles, if it's Buffalo,
Miami,
they're going to be playing 3 of them too. So
that'll be no, but I'm saying Miami, Kansas City might be a sexy matchup. Actually, that might be a fun matchup to open up the season.
The Chiefs' home slate's insane. The Chiefs play the Dolphins, the Bills, the Eagles, the 3 divisional games, and then I believe they also play Cincinnati at home.
Yeah.
So it is the NFL's got pick of the litter. But yeah, whoever plays in that game, they're playing 3 Thursday night games.
It's
nuts.
Insane.
Nuts. It's nuts.
Insane. I don't know how they do that. All right, one more thing before I let you go. The owner, Robert Kraft, was interviewed at the owners' meetings and was asked, because they've had losing seasons in 3 out of the last 4 years, and obviously the last 2 years. So They asked him, is Belichick, can he survive another bad season, or is he here to basically break Don Shula's records? And Kraft was like, no, we're here to win. It's not about my players getting stats or coaches or anything like that. We're here to win. So I'm just wondering, they look so pedestrian, and it just doesn't look like a football team on the rise. It just looks like there's a steady decline going on right now. How does that one end? Because we're talking about the greatest coach of all time. So does the greatest coach of all time all of a sudden lose his fastball or lost his franchise quarterback?
Well, I think it's one and the same. And I think it ends with them going about 8-9 because they're not as good as anybody in that division. If the Jets get Rodgers. Now, if the Jets somehow don't get Rodgers, then okay, sure. Yeah, they can be in the division. But I think one thing that needs to be said is Belichick last year, and really the last 2 years, that team is not talented. And they were in the playoffs 1 year, and they were a win in Buffalo away from being in the playoffs last year. Like, he's still, to me, a great coach. The problem is you don't have a quarterback. I mean, Mac Jones is he's a guy. He's a guy. Now, I do think this. Belichick, the coach, I still think is as elite as he ever was. Belichick, the general manager, is a big problem. Okay? If you go, and I've written about this, if you go and look at Belichick over the last 7-8 years as a GM, it's brutal. It's brutal. And the problem is, how do you go to Belichick and say, hey, Bill, listen, we're going to make all the football decisions. We just want you to coach a team. He's not going to accept that. And I don't blame him, but that's the problem they have. And by the way, that was the same problem Andy Reid had in Philadelphia and went to Kansas City and was like, I don't want to be the GM anymore. That was a disaster. Like, that happens. But that is clearly the problem for me in New England, and I don't think they're a playoff team as they're constructed.
What do you got going on Sports Illustrated, my friend, so folks can check you out?
So today we put out a piece where I ranked the top 10 Packers, which I only did because Aaron Rodgers said, well, maybe I'm the greatest Packer of all time. So I went and actually asked their team historian for his opinion on a whole bunch of people. And then Andrew Brandt, who is an executive for them and writes for SI occasionally, and I put my own spin in there as well. We ranked out the top 10 Packers, which has been fun. I've gotten screamed at for it. I've enjoyed it. We got NFC free agency grades coming out on Friday. And then I've got a whole bunch of stuff. I've got mock drafts coming out. I've got a big feature, a retrospective on the 83 draft, which Dolphins fans should look back on fondly. 40-year anniversary. That'll be coming out in mid-April. There's a lot of stuff. I can't even keep it all. I literally have a calendar pinned on my desktop so I can remember it all. But it's there. And if you follow me on Twitter and you follow SI and the MMQB, you won't miss it.
Number one on the list for Green Bay was the Magic Man, right? The quarterback, right? Yeah.
He was honorable mention. Man should have been there. Could have been somebody.
Was it Mikowski? Was his last name?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Don Mikowski.
Don Mikowski, yes. The Magic Man. All right. Follow him on Twitter at Matt Verderame and catch his exceptional work there at Sports Illustrated. Matt, as always, thank you, my friend. We'll catch up next week.
Enjoy the fair.
Thank you, sir. Always. There you go. Our number one is done. Our number two is next.
This has been The Huddle with NFL reporter Matt Verderame. RedRecover.com helps pros and everyday warriors heal on the go with their medical-grade, highly specialized devices designed for each area of the body. Go to RedRecover.com to learn more about red light with videos, blog posts, and over 40 years of medical research to treat pain, inflammation, and overall well-being.
You know, I tell you guys all the time about Cutter's Edge Pro, man, and what they did with our backyard and made it a pure oasis. That's our Sylvester tree right there. A beautiful day, providing a ton of sunshine. We've got one exactly like this out in the front yard, and it is absolutely gorgeous. There's Bono hanging around on the artificial turf. What's up, Bono? What's the word, baby? There you go, wagging that little tail. Maiden, there she is. Ziggy. How you doing, Ziggy? There you go. So we got the doggies hanging out. So just want to give you a little, we got some of the trees starting off from this way with the artificial turf. You see, there's Ziggy again, of course. Got it all the way. And look, we got some flowers coming out. That tree now will start to also spring, and it's absolutely beautiful too. So got all that. They can do all kinds of things for you in your backyard to kind of make it an oasis, which is what we've done. And obviously the dogs can play. What's up, Bono? I got him there hanging out. Maiden, there she is. There she is, the one and only. She's mean as a skunk, by the way. Just want you to know. She's awesome with us, but I mean, if you're a stranger, you don't want to meet mated. So as you can see, and then the artificial turf, remember, there's no watering. There's no cutting the grass. It looks fabulous like this the entire time. You know what I'm saying? It's beautiful. Back here in this corner is where we put the barbecue. I wheel it out, cook, then I wheel it back in. See, looks beautiful, doesn't it? Flowers are coming out. It's awesome. And then when I want to play a little golf, there's my putting green down the side, which is a beautiful thing. There's one of the holes all the way to the other side where Bono is at. All lights up. It's really beautiful when it lights up. See, we got the rough. Got several. Got one on that side. Got one over there in the corner. Bono's leaving. You got rough all over the place, man. Just in case, you get the ball trapped in there. That's it. That's another swing. Right, Maiden? So, check it out. CuttersEdgePro.com. Make your home an oasis. Make your business, your HOA complex, condominium, you name it, they got you, bro. They do it all. All right? They can cut your trees down. And the artificial turf, I swear by it. Really easy to maintain, and it looks just absolutely freaking beautiful. Cutter's Edge Pro.
Right, Ziggy?
Oh, great. You have a doorbell camera. Now you have a front row seat to your house getting robbed.
They're breaking into my house!
Ooh, there goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No, not the TV!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them. With Slogans, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation. Plus, free doorbell camera, one that'll actually work for you.
Get out of my house!
Get out of the house! Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
Welcome to Red Light Therapy, a revolutionary technology perfected by NASA to aid in muscle strengthening and recovery. Red and infrared light has the capacity to penetrate deep into the cell's mitochondria, potentially leading to increased energy, faster recovery, and the optimal performance your body demands. Train, fight, recover.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
There we go. All righty. Appreciate all of you out there. We thank Matt Verderame, our number 2 here, live from, of course, the YouthFair. And remember, we're going to give away 2 family 4-packs again today. I'll pick some winners tonight. DM me on Twitter at Big O Show, your full name, your email address, and your cell phone number. We're going to pick 2 winners. You can also DM me on Instagram at Big O Radio Show. Okay. Twitter is Big O Show. Everything is normally Big O Radio Show except for Twitter. So Instagram, Big O Radio Show, and DM me again. Don't put it out in public. Put it in the DM. And then also email is another way you can get at me at Big O Radio Show at yahoo.com. Again, send in your full name, email address. Well, we'll kind of have it already, but still put it in there. And then your cell phone number, and we'll pick 2 winners. And I'll tell you if you won, and then we'll put the tickets out at will call, and you can enjoy yourself, which is a beautiful thing. Okay, there you go. Nothing wrong with that, right? That's what it's all about. So let's get into a little Dolphins talk, okay? And I want to get into a little Dolphins talk because there's been some interesting stuff going on. And first of all, if you saw Mike Silver's interview, I hope you saw Mike Silver's interview with Mike McDaniel. I want to get into that a little bit also. I guess you brought it up here. Did you find it? It's there? Okay. All right. Yeah, it's probably delayed. That's why this whole thing is just, there it is. It's delayed. So we remember we had a conversation with Alan Poupart yesterday. And Alan didn't seem to kind of get what I was talking about, Like, I understood what he was saying, that it didn't matter if the Dolphins put the 5th-year option or not. People are still going to question it. And I said, well, they're questioning it because they're just lying. They're just out there throwing crap out there when there's no substance. to it. So you're basically calling Mike McDaniel and Chris Greer liars when you have no business doing that, when there's been nothing but proof, which, by the way, go see the Mike Silver interview. That'll give you even more proof that they've been committed to Tua from the get-go, those guys. And so the guy from Spotrac, he puts out a tweet that says projected 2023 cap space and what you would need to be freed up to acquire Lamar Jackson's $32.4 million franchise tag. So it says the Dolphins would have to clear up $31 million, Commanders 30, and so on and so forth, and 49ers and all that. And it's just the most ridiculous thing in the world because you're putting something out there that's never going to happen. Just like a lot of the people that have been talking about it, writing about it, they were all full of shit. Basically, Josina Anderson, she had terrible information. She had brutal information. She had irresponsible information. The Dolphins were not inquiring with anybody about any other quarterback. They were committed to Tua from the get-go. In fact, Mike McDaniel has only been committed to Tua, and so has Chris Greer. The only time that they were involved in Watson or in Brady had to do with the bitter last coach that you had and the two idiot owners. Okay? Let's just clear those things out. The guys that drafted him were completely committed to him. The guy they just hired is completely committed to him. Okay? And you can go watch the Mike Silver interview, and McDaniel, you can tell the way he's explaining things to Silver and how it all went down. I'll get into that a little bit, but it's just funny to me that no matter what goes on, it's just a matter of continuing to lie to people. Do you know why we do this? Because the public has a lot of suckers. There's a lot of you out there that believe anything and everything you read or you hear. And they know it, and they know they're going to get a rise out of you. So they do it for clickbait. That's what they do. It's not because of anything else. It's Josina Anderson no longer on ESPN or Fox, and she's on a lesser beat now, so she's trying to get her name out there to try to get back on the bigger stage, and she failed miserably by putting bad information out there. And anybody else that was writing it, or suggesting it or saying whatever, or, the Greg Cody ridiculous stuff that he wrote. Well, if the Dolphins are delaying on the fifth-year option so they can think about Lamar, this makes sense. No, it doesn't. Okay, besides the fact, this has nothing to do with this. I feel normally anybody that thinks Lamar Jackson's a better passer than, or a better quarterback than Tua, I don't think you really understand the quarterback position. Let's just be clear on that. Because if you actually think that's a better option, I don't think you really understand football that well. I'm saying. It is what it is. But I'm just looking at this whole thing, and it's exactly what I said. No matter what, they do whatever they want in the media because there are no repercussions. You can report shit that isn't inaccurate. They're not going to fire you. They're not going to do anything to you. People don't hold you accountable. Right? It doesn't matter. You will then go back to listen to Josina Anderson tell you another story, and I don't know whether you'll, credibility-wise, you'll go listen to it again, because this is what happens. This is where we're at in this world, unfortunately. And the media knows that they can do things just for clickbait. And that makes their editors and their producers and whatever happy. It doesn't have to be accurate anymore. It just has to get a response. And because Tua is a lightning rod, it always gets a response. And so I saw that Spotrac thing, and I thought of Poupart when he sent it to me. I go, well, there you go. When he said to me, I go, this is what I was telling you, bro. No matter what, the media is going to lie about all of this, because those are just lies. You're telling, well, if they need to clear up no, they don't, because they're not clearing it up. They're committed to one quarterback. They're not changing their entire offense. That's the other thing about people that say, well, the Dolphins should add Lamar Jackson. man, you are stupid because you don't understand that you have to then change the entire offense. Anyway, just ridiculous stuff. Now, let me go on the second Dolphin story here that I really liked. I encourage you, anyone and everyone in the Miami Dolphins nation, listen to me. Go watch the interview with Mike Silver and Mike McDaniel. It's an hour long, okay? Mike Silver, you can tell, has known Mike McDaniel forever, and they talk about it, and they talk about their experiences together and all that stuff. And McDaniel goes on to, tell the story on everything that went on. And he tells the story of how he saw the film for Tua and immediately was convinced that this was the guy. And remember, you all hear the story about making the tape and all those plays. Initially, he made a tape that had 100 and some plays, not the 700 one for Tua. He made one for the coaching staff, for the front office, and all of that. Because when he got here, he started going through the film and started to realize that Tua makes all these kind of throws that a lot of quarterbacks are actually afraid to make, and that he's actually really accurate at those throws. And he's talking about some where you're at the far hash and you're throwing to the other side of the field. And he says some quarterbacks would be nervous about that, and he isn't. And I kept seeing one throw after another that are really difficult to make in this league. And yet he continued to make it. And so that convinced me right away. And so what he did was when he addressed his coaching staff in the front office before he addressed Tua, right? And he talks about the story. I'm kind of ruining the interview for you a little bit, but he talks about how, when he had to address with Tua the whole situation, Tua was guarded, okay, are you guys joking? Or because he's only been used to battering and badgering and all that. And so what he did was he ran the tape, but he also ran San Francisco plays through it at the same time. So he would show him a route that he would throw and then show it to him in a San Francisco way. And he said, this is how it should be run. This is how it should be open, this, that. Tua's response was he got more excited and more excited as the meeting went on. And by the end of the meeting, he goes, we got to get some playmakers. So, that kind of stuff. So he goes on to explain how he then makes the tape to explain to the front office people and to the coaching staff his vision and why he's convinced that Tua is the guy. Okay? And by the way, he barely slept that night, and he had to wait because he woke up really early in the morning, and he had to wait till he thought it was a reasonable time to call Chris Greer and all this because he was that excited, about it. And listen to the line he throws in that interview. He says, Tua's the best QB for our offense that we've ever had to coach. And he's been on a whole bunch of teams. Okay? And he goes, and then he caps it off by telling his coaching staff and his people that we are sitting on a gold mine. Does that sound like somebody that's going to get off the Tua bandwagon right now? No. And you can tell that story comes from the heart and that there's brutal honesty involved in it because you can see and feel the exchange between him and Silver. And you can tell that McDaniel is way more comfortable with Silver than most people that would interview him. You know what I mean? He kind of lets his guard down and tells him exactly how the story went about and all that. I'm telling you, you want to check this out. Okay? If you actually listen, and this is something I've actually said before to Greer and to McDaniel, if you actually listen, you will notice that this is their QB. The problem is there's a bunch of you out there that you're not convinced. And then you had media members that weren't convinced, right? And then so the injuries cloud the whole thing. And so now you've muddied the water so much that you refuse to open your mind up. Because it's clear that the kid can play. I mean, we should be through that hurdle already. Okay? Again, it's a really good interview overall. And it's not because Silver is this amazing interviewer. He asked the right questions, but it's because McDaniel was really willing to open up. Okay? And you can see it in the interview. Like he wanted to get this off his chest and he wanted to talk about it. And I think it also gets to a point where I think McDaniel might be, getting to his wit's end about him trying to keep proving to people or telling people that he's committed to Tua because you're not committed to Tua. And that's the problem. You know what I mean? So those of you that aren't, we can't do anything about that. That's up to you to, convince yourself, or maybe you'll never be able to convince yourself, or maybe you think you never will convince yourself or whatever. But it's just going to be hard to convince those kind of people because you've already gone through it over and over again. And when you watch that interview, you will go again like, okay, well, where are these people getting this? This guy, you can tell, is not moving from Tua at all. That's his guy. Now, if Tua obviously has a bunch of injuries and can't stay healthy, then nobody can do anything about it. As much as I would love to see Tua be the guy, he obviously won't be able to stay here if he's, injury prone. Nobody's going to hang on to him. So this is a big year in that sense. But McDaniel is convinced that he's got the right player. Okay? Now we just got to hope that the other stuff works out for Tua and he's able to stay on the field and, and get it done. But it's a really good interview. You should check it out because I think McDaniel, does a marvelous job of opening up and telling you the story. John Padilla says, I have a trip to West Florida towards the Gulf. I hope we don't get rained out every day. I hope you don't either. Super V says, good afternoon, Big O. You look like you might be the new Top Gun badass mofo with that background. That's me, baby. I'm going into the danger zone right now. Sometimes I wonder how far we could go if Tua played in the playoffs healthy. They weren't super healthy, and we didn't have X wasn't healthy, and they didn't have another, safety there because Brandon was out. They were missing a bunch of people. They're not going to win a title, but if they can get their pretty healthy with Tua this year, I like the Dolphins' chances. I like the Dolphins' chances big time. They will kick out Roman Reigns from Bloodline only to bring in the Samoan sniper, Tua Tagovailoa, to lead the Bloodline. Tua's first opponent, Deshaun Elliott. Big O, get to the chopper. Regardless, if he plays under or over Tyreek when he's healthy, the numbers don't lie. Boom or bust year for Tua because of his injuries. He has make and play type of feet on my TV. It's a boom or bust year. You are correct, sir. You couldn't be more right for Tua this year. You couldn't be more right about it. Can't argue with that. Let me tell you a little bit about Welton Rayom. We love talking about Welton Rayom. It is a law office that if you live here in South Florida, Dade, Broward, or Palm Beach counties, okay, we've got several of our listeners, even one of them in Orlando now. Okay, so we had a listener in Orlando. All right, come on down and hire Welton Rayom in Hollywood. So you can hire him wherever you're at if you want, but normally it's Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach counties. And we have an office in Monroe County. Okay, and actually, from what I hear, we might be doing a show down in Monroe County there, Sean, down the line. So I'm looking forward to that. And call them 954-966-4646. Bankruptcy, homeowner property damage, condo damage, criminal defense, business owner claims, commercial litigation, personal injury. And let me tell you something. We have a listener that got screwed by an insurance company. Still called Welton Rayom. You should never call back the insurance company. You should never deal with them. You should call Welton Rayom first and let the lawyers deal with the insurance companies. They immediately, you get their attention right away when it's a lawyer representing you instead of a person, because They love human beings to represent themselves. Yeah, they want you to be Lamar Jackson so they can take advantage of your ass. That's what they want you to do. They want you to be stupid enough to represent yourself because they know all the rules and all the laws and you don't, and they will take advantage of you. Please call Welton Rayom anywhere you're at. Dade, Broward, Palm Beach counties, Monroe County. Who knows? You're out in Collier or anywhere else. Call them 954-966-4646 for a free consultation. Jeff Welt, Daniel Rayom, they are absolutely outstanding folks, okay? Right now we've got about 4 of our listeners that are using Welton Rayom. I use Welton Rayom myself personally when Progressive Insurance was trying to screw us, and we called Welton Rayom, and forget about it, dude. They were on them like junkyard dogs, and they ended up having to pay for everything that that needed fixing. And let me tell you, I love what they did for us. They can do it for you, all right? They got us 5 times what Progressive was initially offering. That's how badly they wanted to rip us off. They weren't even giving us enough money to actually fix it the right way, okay? Not even enough money to fix it, period. It's disgusting. Insurance companies will take advantage of you. Call Welton Rayom. They will crush them. 954-966-4646. You're going to love watching them kick ass, dude. God, they are good. Really good. Good people, too, on top of all of that. All right. What else do we have going on in the world of sports? Talked a little Dolphins. We talked a little Heat. Panthers back in action tonight against Toronto. And 7:30 for tonight. Well, I was definitely I thought maybe there was a chance, and no chance for them to turn that corner. That's for damn sure, dude. That is crazy. So Thursday, we've got the Marlins. Opening day, 4 o'clock, baby. Lone Depot Park, Mark Scherzer taking on Sandy Alcantara. And nobody cares. Yeah, tomorrow, 4 o'clock. That sucks, dude. And you know what's the worst part about this? Here's the worst part about all of this. Our winter teams suck. Like, even if the Panthers sneak in, they're not going to last long in the playoffs. They're gone. And then if the Heat is going to get in, they'll be at least in a play-in game, but they're not going to last very long either in the playoffs. So we're not going to have prolonged existence in the NBA or NHL playoffs. So we desperately need the baseball team and the soccer team to come through. And the soccer team still has some hope, but the baseball team, like, there's no hope. No hope. I love Sandy. I love the kid they acquired from Minnesota. Jazz is cool, but they can't score enough runs. What a shame.
There's always hope.
When sports and business collide, we like doing something called the KSDT Sports Business Report. Marlins aren't going to be much this season, but hey, they might have enough money now to maybe buy another bat boy. Yep, when they take the field at Lone Depot Park on Thursday, opening day against the Mets, the Marlins players will be wearing patches on their uniform jerseys that have the ADT corporate logo on them. The result is a 3-year marketing partnership between the professional baseball team and the Boca Raton-based home security company. The corporate patch, the first of its kind for the Marlins, will appear on players' jerseys starting with the 2023 baseball season. And what are they getting for this? They are getting $5 million per year for the patch. So it's a 3-year, $15 million deal. That should be enough to get them a couple of bat boys, right? No? Bat boys are a little bit more expensive nowadays?
Oh, yeah. You see a new sandwich they got?
No, what's the new sandwich they got?
It's the new Gigante sandwich. Hold on, let me see if I still have it up right here. Right here.
A Gigante sandwich.
Yep. It is 34 inches, 2.5 pounds, feeds 4 to 8, roasted mojo pork, sweet ham, mustard, pickles, and special sauce for $50.
Sounds
at
good.
Marlins Park.
Sounds
Looks good.
good.
Looks real good.
Sounds good. $50, so $12 a sandwich. Break it down to 4.
Yeah, if you're feeding 4.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, you're feeding 4. Okay.
That might get them bad boy too.
That might be good right there. That is your KSDT CPA Sports Business Report.
This has been the KSDT Sports Business Report. KSDT CPA is one of South Florida's largest and one of the country's fastest growing accounting firms. KSDT is recognized by Forbes as one of the top tax and accounting firms for 2022. KSDT CPA is a full service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit online at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370.
Well, that $15 million won't even buy Omar Kelly. Come on, bro. That guy makes way more money. All right, it is time to talk to Omar with our essentialmovingexperts.com Miami Dolphins exchange.
Time to talk aqua and orange, Miami Dolphins fans. It's the Essential Moving Experts Miami Dolphins Exchange with Omar Kelly. When you're looking to move your home or business anywhere in the U.S. from coast to coast, call Essential Moving Experts at 305-602-8369. Flat rates and no surprise charges. EssentialMovingExperts.com. 305-602-8369. Let's talk Dolphins football. Here's Omar Kelly.
Is locked and loaded and ready to go. How you doing, my man? You doing all right?
I'm good, man. How you been?
I can't complain. I'm at the Youth Fair.
You are at my favorite place in all of the United States. That Youth Fair is my favorite event, has been that way since I was a kid. I would rather go to the Youth Fair than Disney World, Universal Studios, any water park, any Metro Zoo. Took my daughter there last weekend. I am a huge Youth Fair fan.
I love the Youth Fair.
Always my family.
Yeah, it's always it's the ultimate place to go with family and with friends. You know, like to hang out and just screw around, eat some great food, ride some rides, see some
great
shows.
people watching.
Yeah, definitely great people watching.
Food. I wish they would do, and I get it. It's a carnival, so you got the carnival food rides. But give me a food truck section. Think about it. Just think about it for a minute there. Now, obviously, a food truck section would struggle to handle that mass of people. But just think about
it won't be a mass. It won't be a mass because you have all the other things. You know whether you like it or not, Omar. Just because you say that, there's a lot of people that are going to come here to go get a turkey leg.
You're correct.
They probably get the turkey leg once a year. Outside of Thanksgiving. They go, like, for me personally, dude, I have to have an elephant ear. Like, I love freaking elephant ears. That's my favorite.
Do you like the one with the fruit, or you like the one with the powdered sugar and the butter?
Actually, I do brown sugar.
Brown sugar. Okay, brown sugar. Okay.
Brown sugar.
I don't know how I feel about brown sugar.
Oh, you got to try an elephant ear with brown sugar, baby. Oh man.
Yeah, it's. I still have my cotton. I still have my cotton candy.
And remember, it's cinnamon brown sugar so it's really good, bro. It's a great combination. That's the thing.
I don't do the fruit. I do the powdered sugar. But yeah,
right. Okay, that's cool. What do you got for him, Sean?
No, I wanted to ask him. Did you try the pickled lemonade?
No. I will drink lemonade. I'll buy the Youth Fair refill cup.
I'm with you.
And drink lemonade, the frozen, but I'll take the fresh one. But I'm not drinking any pickled lemonade. That's nasty.
He loved it, dude. He loved it. They're gonna bring him. He loved it so much they brought him one last week. He went and bought one himself, a second one before he left. They're gonna bring him one now because I told him he loved it so much. So they're gonna bring him another pickled lemonade.
Oh my god!
He actually liked that. Oh my god! Yeah, no, I can't.
I mean, I haven't tried it, so I mean, I would be open to trying it, but the concept just doesn't sound very good to me.
It just doesn't sound good. No, it's not something that
it keeps you from cramping. The pickle juice.
Okay.
Oh, come on, bro.
Okay. All
what are you worried about cramping? You going home to have a 30-hour lovemaking session?
Hey, you never know it, Sean.
Listen, what happens in the room stays in the room.
That's right. That's right, Omar. Don't try to get nosy now and trying to find out all the action that Sean is at. And come on.
I'm not the one on camera here.
It's like he's worried about cramping.
O's got me working back here. You know how that is.
Oh, man. Hey, by the way, did you get to see the interview Mike Silver had with Mike McDaniel?
No, I have not seen it yet.
You should.
Is it up?
Yeah, it's up. I watched it all, and I want to see if I could talk a little bit with you. Maybe next week we'll talk a little bit about it because Silver clearly knows McDaniel better than most of us, and you can tell the way he opened up to him. But it's really cool how he tells the Tua story, and there's more to it than we found out about it when you listen to it, and all that kind of stuff. So the more you hear it, it's just you'll see that clearly that guy believes in Tua like it's
Absolutely.
going out of style.
How many times do they have to tell you that
I don't know.
they are in love with Tua, they fully believe in Tua, and they're not interested in Lamar Jackson? Like, how many times do they have to tell you that?
I don't know, but it's what I was telling Poupart yesterday, that no matter what they say, they're still going to be spun as liars because everybody keeps writing stories
They're
that
cheaters, though.
Yeah, it is. It's like, bro, let's treat them like liars when they are liars. Okay,
Yeah, but they just started telling the truth. They just started being in a committed relationship like last year. Like,
no, but what I mean is McDaniel's not really one of those liars, and neither is really Chris Greer. They really don't necessarily.
No, Chris Greer does not lie. Chris Greer
That's
does
what I'm
not lie.
saying. So let's the people that lie to you, well, then let's treat them like liars because we have the coaches in the front office, people that mislead us constantly and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so once we have a track record of people like that, then we can say, well, hey, we can't trust them because this, that, and that. These guys haven't given us that.
But as an organization, and this does not include Mike McDaniel, you stepped out on Tua twice.
Not them.
Them being Chris Greer.
No,
yes,
not them.
Yes.
No, it
them
wasn't.
Being Steve Ross.
There you
they
go.
were associated.
Steve Ross and Bruce Beal with Tom Brady. No.
Chris Greer was there.
Chris Greer's taking orders, bro. He's taking orders.
Listen.
Omar, I can tell you this. He's the black guy employed.
Okay. And what does that mean?
You know what that means. Us minorities, we don't get a lot of breaks, dude.
He's gotten 8 years of breaks. He's doing all right.
What I'm saying is he takes orders. You can't just turn around and tell the owner, yeah, I don't think that's a good idea to go to Tom Brady. Bruce Beal and him want Tom Brady. And then the coach he hires, well, they already fought during draft day because one wanted Jordan Love and they wanted Tua. They took Tua. Now this guy wants to go out and get Watson. Chris Greer never wanted Brady or Watson. I can tell. Neither did Marvin Allen or Reggie McKenzie. I can tell you that for a fact. Those guys, if they had to be part of any of those conversations, it was because they had to do the job, bro. They're employees. They have to take orders from the owner. That's it.
That's fair, well and good. And I'm sure you're probably going to say Chris Greer never wanted Josh Rosen either, or everything is.
No, but Josh Rosen was before this. That has nothing to do with one or the other.
It's still all under his watch.
Yes, the Josh Rosen stuff for sure under his watch. I have no problem with that, dude.
Deshaun Watson too, under his watch. He had a press conference about Deshaun Watson.
But it wasn't under his direction. It wasn't him.
He's the HNC.
Hey, for a while, you thought that, Flo wanted Tua. And I told you for a while he didn't want Tua until you were the one that finally found out. Okay?
You know what? I mean, the tea leaves were out there. He was abusive to Tua the very first meeting with him. And I don't think, and Tua was like, oh, wait a minute here. Like, this team don't love me. They're quite abusive, and maybe that's his nature. But yes, he preferred Jordan Love over Tua.
No, I know he wanted. I know there was a big old fight in the draft for that. It's not just he wanted, dude. There was a big ass argument leading up to the draft with all of this. This is not. This wasn't just a passing conversation. This was a heated argument about all of this because the guy thought he was also a personnel director, at the same time. So that to me, those are the things that are on the periphery that people are getting wrong. that it's not Greer or McDaniel that were off the Tua bandwagon. It was the other people that they couldn't control. You already had, the junkyard dog and Flo out loose and terrorizing the building. And that's the other thing that I kept telling you. Hey, he's terrorizing the building. Go find out. And
I still don't. But yes, he's got a gruff, aggressive, potentially abusive personality. But there are people inside that building who loved him and appreciated him and respected him. Is it Mike McDaniel? No. Is it Adam Gase? No. Is it Joe Philbin? Absolutely not. But here's the thing. Everybody doesn't have to be Mike McDaniel. Mike McDaniel, I've never met an individual in the world like Mike McDaniel. Right. I can't name you one.
No, there's no coach that's ever been like that. Coach.
And I can't sit here and guarantee to you that it's going to lead to success and victories and he's going to hoist up a championship. I remember this fan base calling Adam Gase a genius after his first season, and Brian Flores was a magician after his first season where his team sucked. I had to sit here and tell you that, hey, let's not crown this guy. He ain't done shit. And people were wanting to crown him. So I want to see. I always like that second season of a head coach because
obviously, yes,
that second season gives you a bigger sample size. You see their true personality because they can't hide who they are. Their quirks kind of come out, and their shortcomings kind of show. I saw you address the fact that McDaniel said, "Hey, we needed to run more, and that was on me." Okay, an acknowledgement of mistakes. That's a starting point. Flores wasn't that guy, but he did take ownership for bad things, which I did love.
Yeah.
But hell, Joe Philbin acknowledged his mistakes. Doesn't mean that he fixed them.
Right. No.
Now
Philbin and Flo are a lot alike in the sense that they struggled in building a good staff. That's the one thing. And that's because they both had one same trait that I talked about over and over again. If you go steal a coach that has been in one organization his whole life, you up. Why? Because he doesn't know anybody in the league. It's funny because fans and listeners and all that will tell you, that guy sucks. He's gone all over the place. No, that guy's really good. If he's been hired 7 times, there's a reason why he's been hired 7 times.
And he's got connections.
And he must be a pretty good coach too. It can't be that 7 buddies. I get it. There's a coach that'll bounce around to 1 or 2 places because he knows a couple of friends.
Mm-hmm.
But the guys that have been hired 5, 6, 7 times, those are the best guys to hire because they've been all over the place. They've gotten to know all kinds of
connections,
all kinds of systems, and they've built a Rolodex up. And that was our problem with Flo and our problem with Philbin. And it's not their fault generally. It's just that they were stuck in the same place their entire careers. So they really didn't get to know a lot of coaches. They didn't really get to experience a lot. And it hurts you as a coach, by the way.
I personally like the coach who's failed already and has learned from his mistakes. But I hear your point. One of the things that did bother me about Flores and not the offensive coordinator stuff, because I think Chan Gailey was a phenomenal hire to get him to come out of retirement. Now he couldn't get him to stick around, but hey, I still
Chris Kerr got him. Okay.
Anyway, you're right. But Flo, the biggest issue I had with Flo is his staff was like a huge percentage college coaches.
I know,
and I didn't like that. I didn't feel like that connected. And yes, this is a new generation of players, and it benefits you to have a younger coach who knows how to connect to them and actually knows what Instagram is and how to use Snapchat and how to communicate with this soft-ass, sensitive generation of players. But it didn't sit well with me. And obviously, it's a fact that Flores struggled to have very good relationships. And at the end, some of his coaches snitched on him in terms of telling, internal business to the higher ups and what was going on. And all is fair in snaking people and trying to elevate yourself. I'm not even going to call out any names, Brian, defense coordinator. But it doesn't necessarily mean he's going to be a bad coach on the second go around. And it
Right.
doesn't. And Mike McDaniel, like I didn't like Mike McDaniel's offensive line hire. I rode with it, and then okay, the guy gets replaced, and he gets replaced by a guy that is nationally criticized in college and pro level. So
Yeah, has a terrible reputation.
So we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, but overall, his staff is really good. So it's not a bad staff. You can't pick on just one coach when you do have Darrell Bevel there and Frank Smith and you add Wes Welker. There are some really good coaches.
Wide receiver coach, Sam
you
Madison,
got to and then you go and get one of the best defensive coordinators. I mean, overall, compared to some of our prior coaches, McDaniel
I didn't like some of their. I didn't like that they retained so many of their defensive coaches, and now obviously a couple of them have changed. So it's all good.
But you got to trust Vic on what he's going to do, and I'm sure he'll have to tweak the staff next year, because he'll learn about guys, say, yeah, no, not that
and
guy.
Guys will be out of contract, and they'll get other guys. Listen.
Right. Now, listen to this. The Mike Silver interview, I want you to listen to some of these quotes that are just like mind-boggling. You're going to freak out on them. All right. And this is McDaniel on Tua telling Silver, he says, about Tua, he has to know that someone is 100% in his corner, which I see as a coach is that no dude I'm sorry, let me do it again. He has to know that someone is 100% in his corner, which I see as what a coach is, and that no dude, you can do it. So he's telling him, no, you can do it.
Dude,
and prior to that, he tells a story that comes from his mom, that his mom, when he was young, was telling him, yes, you're going to be a coach. You can be a coach and all that. And her positive reinforcement helped him. And so that's where he gets that stuff that he does with positive reinforcement.
What I do find, and I'm interested in and excited to see the interview because Mike Silver is one of the premier guys who is extremely well connected, as you know.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see it. But the one thing that does concern me is, there's a lot of coddling of Tua, and either they feel it benefits him tremendously or they feel that they can't be critical of him. And either way, it makes me a little uncomfortable.
No, I'll get to that in a minute, but let me finish this off. I had to convince him that I believed in him so that he could allow himself, because I've been through it, which is what I told you. I thought I knew. I didn't even know what they were sitting on. I know for a fact from this night of study, that's when he got there, got the tape and started to watch the tape and all that stuff, that this is the best QB for our offense that I've had a chance to coach.
Okay.
That's strong. I've gone through like 700 passes, and I cannot believe what I'm seeing. This guy is doing stuff that I just haven't focused all my attention on yet. We are sitting on a gold mine. We need to do everything. Everything we do moving forward should be skilled position players that have the ability to do stuff with the ball in their hands, because this guy, if they're open, he'll get it to them. You got to see the interview.
Timing, precision. Those are things, the reasons why I absolutely fell in love with Tua at Alabama in the draft process.
Right. Of course, because you could, accuracy, ball placement, all that is.
Accuracy, ball placement, pocket presence. Like that, I don't care what any fan says. You're an idiot if you don't think he's got pocket presence. Like, you've seen Ryan Tannehill and you can't see the difference. Like, you're a moron. If you think, all his injuries are coming because he can't feel pressure. Like, what's wrong with you? But no, Tua has everything he needs to be extremely successful. You could say, oh, Tua's got everything he needs to be the top-rated passer in the NFL. Okay, well, he was the top-rated passer in the NFL last year, and I don't even think he had that great of a year.
Yeah,
to be honest with you.
Now go back to your point. It's not so much that they're protecting him, okay? Because I don't think they treat him any different than anybody else in there. I just think it's so prominent, the hate, the negativity. That they're constant, like no player on
That's
the
not
team.
fair. That's not fair, because his support is also way more prominent than everybody in the NFL, including Tim Tebow.
Well, no, but see, the point is, that if you have a player that's being attacked constantly, that there's no player on the team that gets attacked like Tua for no reason at all over the country, and people are coming up with crazy stories, and they're trying to trade this, and then it all comes back to the
That's
building.
because you stepped out on them twice. Don't act like you didn't. You did as an organization.
Okay, there. Say it like that.
You did as an organization. You stepped out on him twice.
Yes, but one of them that stepped out on him, the one that stepped out on him no longer is here. The other one that stepped out on him no longer will be the owner of the team.
Yeah.
So, it's they kind of got their punishment already. Flo's gone, and Bruce Beal will never. By the way, did you see the picture this weekend?
Yes, I did.
Bruce Beal?
Yeah.
Hanging out with Tom Brady and the kids?
I mean, if Tom Brady invites you on a boat, you ain't going? Hold on, Big O.
That's not the point. The point is Beal and Brady are tight.
They've been tight.
That's where it all came from. That's where it all came from. By the way, did you notice the hat he was wearing?
Dallas Cowboys hat, right? I don't care.
I'm just saying the guy's a phoney. It's just, whatever.
Bro, he's a billionaire. He's just trying to live his life and get hoes. And, I don't even know if he's married. Maybe
no, he is married. He's got kids. Well, he's got kids. I don't know.
That ain't stopping him.
No. He might be divorced, is what I'm saying. You might have kids and you're divorced. Lots of people have kids and they're divorced.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But yeah, it was him and him and Brady and the kids, Brady's kids and his kids.
Yeah, man. If maybe their kids are friends, like billionaire, millionaire, billionaire. Like I'm sure Bruce Beal's giving Brady a stock tip or two that's helped him make $30 million in one day. Like, they'll do things that rich peoples do, which is go on yachts together. Like, it is what it is.
All right. Are they done with the offensive line? Is there anything to do in free agency right now? Because it's like it's gotten to like it's slowed down like to
yeah. I mean, everybody's at the owners meeting, so and now they're going to go back. The focus is once they get to this deep into the free agency, most teams are focused on the draft. Donovan Smith, Jermaine Eglamore, Isaiah Wynn, Taylor Lewan, Billy Turner, George Fant, Jawan James, Cameron Fleming, Dalton Reisner. All of those guys can help them, and all of those guys are.
There's a couple there that I could take a chance on and bring them over to be a swing tackle or possibly compete to be a right tackle.
Minimum to $3 million. Hell, Jawan James has proven. I don't know where he is from a health standpoint.
Yeah, I would not. That's not a guy I would take a chance on at all. He's always injured.
He was never injured. Yeah, was he injured?
Yeah.
No. He didn't.
Yes. He missed time here, doggy.
Listen,
get a share of injury.
I don't know. All of these are 30-year-olds. You can get 30-year-olds $3 million.
Dude, have you looked into the Brandon Shell thing? What is going on? Because it's not like he signed anywhere.
Yeah.
So he was out of shape last year. They gave him a chance. They got him in shape. He played well, and then he got the injury. But now he's a free agent.
Yeah.
And so I'm wondering, do you know anything that's going on there?
No,
Because that would be a guy I would bring back.
I would absolutely as well. But if you're worried about a guy's conditioning, especially in the offseason, maybe you want to wait.
He was, when they acquired him last year, he was out of condition. So they worked, they got him in shape for a couple of weeks. My point is they took a chance on him when he was out of shape to get him in shape and get him on the field, and he was very good for them overall.
Yes.
And it's just the weirdest thing that Omar, he hasn't signed anywhere. And the Dolphins haven't re-signed him, so I'm wondering because
based on what they said, and I wrote a column about it. They know they got to address it. They're playing the waiting game. They've got 2 really good quality draft picks that they're going to use on probably a tight end and an offensive lineman. I don't know in what order.
I agree with
that. And they see where that goes. You got to add veterans at the end of after the draft. People, and a lot of veterans, to be honest with you, don't want to sign now because they don't want to participate in OTAs.
That's true. That's a good point. That's a very good point.
So, unless the money or the guaranteed money is substantial, they're not signing right now. I said this the other day on Twitter, and nobody paid attention to it, but I actually know players, and I'm talking Pro Bowl level players, who literally showed up for the days of OTAs. The media was there, and then didn't show up at all ever during the offseason program. And teams allow it. And it's all good. I'm like, why fake it when the
I would do that with Teron Armstead. Why would I want him?
Teron Armstead's not participating in the offseason program.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if he wants to show up on the media day, and then get lost for the rest of the mini camps. I wouldn't want him in. He doesn't need mini camps.
Xavier Howard ain't participating in your offseason program. Xavier Howard's doing his own program.
Yeah.
Now,
I would imagine that dude. Did you see the video with him and Ramsey? That Ramsey is going to bring the best out of X this year, because X knows that, X on his own has to be healthy this year, because clearly he wasn't healthy last year. But having Jalen Ramsey on the other side, like, he played with Byron knowing that he's the guy, but now he's got a guy that is his equal, or could be better, or whatever. For argument's sake, who gives a shit? You're splitting hairs between those.
Depends on how you value cornerbacks, and me and you probably sit on the opposite spectrum of this, because I value guys that get the ball. I value
those are both guys that can get the ball.
But X is drastically more turnovers than Jalen Ramsey, and people will say, well, Jalen Ramsey isn't thrown at as much, and I'm like, oh, okay, all right,
that's probably what it is. Yeah. But the beauty is, when you have Byron and you have X, you're forced to throw to one of them, and they ended up, for some stupid reason, that year. But he'll be in the slot. But my point is that year, for some stupid reason, you kept challenging X, which was like moronic. You would have to go after Byron. He's the guy that doesn't really get a lot of interception, which is the weirdest thing. Now, with this combination,
X is always shadowing the best receiver, and offense is always catered to what the best receiver is. Now, I don't really see anybody going to be shadowed. Maybe I'd have Jalen shadow. No, I'd leave them on their sides, because.
Oh, no, that's not going to happen. I can already tell you what's going to happen. Ramsey will be moved around. That's why they brought him here. Ramsey was going to be moved around into the slot. He's going to be. It depends on where that impactful receiver is. If the guy goes to the slot, it won't be X. It'll be Ramsey, the guy that's going to move around. They're going to leave X on one end, and the fact that Kohu played so much on the outside, that'll be good, because at least he has the experience and he can switch over when Ramsey has to go inside. Because if they move their badass receiver inside, you're going to watch Ramsey. And I would not be surprised if we see Ramsey every once in a while against a badass tight end that is giving them.
I thought about that, because he definitely has a size to cover a tight end.
Like, you play Kelsey on week 1 against the Chiefs, and you got to deal with Kelsey. I would not be surprised if Ramsey runs with him a little bit.
Yeah. You certainly don't have a linebacker or safety to do it.
No. How many of them are there in the damn league, dude? Seriously. How many safeties and linebackers can hang with Travis Kelsey? Like,
Eric Rowe had a good season doing it.
Like 3 maybe in the NFL?
Probably.
It's just ridiculous at this point. All right. What else are we expecting right now, bro? Anything else on the front? What's going on with Wilkins? What's going on with Sealer?
I find it interesting that they went after Irv Smith, and they were the bidders with the Bengals. Not that that's a tight end that excites me or addresses my need, but it clearly shows that there are two positions that they feel like, and they acknowledge, hey, we still haven't addressed, and that's tight end and offensive line. So,
but wait a minute. When I saw that, the way people might be phrasing it is that he's the starter. I almost think that he's the guy Sobert was signed because you couldn't get Irv Smith. That's kind of the way I look at it.
Irv Smith signed so late. I thought they were still in it.
I'm sorry?
Sobert signed Irv Smith signed so late. He just signed yesterday. So I thought that I thought that the Dolphins were still in the mix. Maybe I'm reading that wrong.
Or maybe they thought they were in the mix, but they knew they were out already, and then they went and got Sobert. And
no matter what, it's going to be a very minimal contract, like a Andrew Van Ginkel $2.5 million contract. So it is what it is.
He's a nice tight end, but it's not like, oh my God.
He's got a relationship with Tua. So I think you need to be adding more Tua friends. I do.
Well, there's nothing wrong with adding people that have chemistry. I mean, although he never played with Tyreek and everything went just
Tyreek's a
fine.
freak of nature, bro.
Yeah,
Tyreek
but
is a
still.
freak of nature.
Yeah, but you still gotta make the plays, and I give the kid credit. He did make the plays, and he did get what's it called in a groove with Tyreek right away. So I listen.
I mean,
I think
we
I
saw
think
we saw it all training camp, bro. That offense was magnificent
when
because
you're a passer like he is, I think you adjust to anybody and everybody that comes onto your team. That's all. If you're a thrower, that's different. If you're just a guy that rifles the ball all over the place, well, then yeah, you're going to
we
need some
really
process.
didn't see that his first 2 years. We started to see that last year, and it's encouraging to see because he has the accuracy, the timing, the precision, the pocket presence, the moxie, the intangible. Now the question is, can he go out there and lead your team to an AFC championship game? And that's really my bar because I think too many things factor into whether or not you go in the Super Bowl.
Irv Smith, 9 touchdowns in 3 seasons, had 5 in his second year. He has 311, 365, and 182 yards last year, a total of 858 yards in 3 seasons, 9.4 yards per catch.
Yeah, I mean, it don't do it for me. It really don't do it for me. But the only problem is if you're saying to yourself that we're going to bank on getting a tight end from the draft, whether it be Luke Musgrave or Sam Laporta or because I don't know if Darnell Washington's going to be there or Michael Myers. If you're saying that you're going to get a tight end in this draft, then you're going to be waiting at least half a season for him. So that means you're going to be relying on Dalton, on Durham Smythe and Sobert and Tanner Connor, or Connor Tanner, whatever his name is, which is it's okay. I'm fine with it. We're really talking about a guy who's going to be targeted 500 times a season. So,
right, basically. All right, what do you got going on in Sports Illustrated, my friend?
I actually have a column revisiting the Lamar Jackson situation from the standpoint of this is a message that's being sent to the entire league. Lamar Jackson is probably the new Colin Kaepernick, and it's for a completely different reasons.
I got you. I understand what you're saying.
It's criminal that all these QB thirst buckets are telling you we're going with Desmond Ridder, we're going with Baker Mayfield, we're going with
it's twofold. It's twofold now. Remember, here, one, you got to trade for him and pay a whole lot of money.
Yes.
And two, here's the thing that people I was
two in itself. Trade for him,
Matt
pay a lot of
Verderame
money.
about this. You have to change your entire offense for
Correct.
him. So there are very few coaches and very few offensive coordinators that are going to be willing to do what John Harbaugh openly, willingly loves to do, and he supports that kind of an offense. So that limits you already as it is.
Yes, you're correct. You're 1,000% correct.
You got to be honest now.
I don't
know if Lamar understands that part.
Not just that. And I brought up all the myriad of issues. No agent, black, uncontrollable character figure who uses Twitter and social media.
And he's got to stop that shit, bro.
He's his own agent. What do you want him to do? He's his own agent. What do you want him to do?
Listen, Omar, he's got to stop arguing with people on social media. He's not going to win. You know it, and I know it. You're not going to win on Twitter.
I mean, but facts are the facts. What I like about what he's doing is people are putting out misinformation that the teams are feeding them, and Lamar's like, yo, those figures, not accurate. 3 years, 130
but he doesn't answer back. He doesn't say how much he wants guaranteed, so you can't.
Oh, yeah. No. He told you the best offer I got is 3 years, $133 million from the Ravens. Who else does that?
That's it.
So, nobody. He comes out.
Nobody does that because normally you have an agent and you let them negotiate behind the scenes.
Let the agent leak it to the media. Yes. Listen, the trade, the salary, the fact that the Ravens could just match any contract you offer, the injury history, the style of offense, the persona, the no agent, all of those things are working against him. But you're telling me a young MVP You shouldn't even just bring him in to have a conversation.
Well, it depends, bro. I mean, why am I going to have a conversation with you if they're just going to match it?
Just have a conversation. Put him through a physical.
The problem is they don't want to waste their time knowing that Baltimore is going to match it. And I think the other thing is I don't think a lot of teams are willing to give up the guaranteed money and the 2 first-rounders, to be quite honest.
That's fair.
And look, what's it called? The Colts guy, Irsay, came out and said, hey, I don't have a problem with the money.
It's the guarantee. But Lamar's camp said, I'm not looking for a fully guaranteed deal.
Obviously, you must be looking for a lot of guarantees because.
But he came out and he addressed that. That's the narrative being put out there. That's not what we are asking for. But nobody wants to know what he's asking for. How does nobody want? Everybody's in the market for a star.
Because, like I told you, that very few people are going to change their offense to a running offense.
I agree with that.
In a passing league.
You know who's
the only one that's going to do that? Pat Riley and the Miami Heat, the team that gets a bunch of 2-pointers in a 3-point league. That's how asinine it is.
Listen,
and that's the problem there. That if you're going to change your offense, you have to be willing to make one hell of a change and say, okay, we got a running offense in a passing league.
Nobody's looking at
very difficult combination. Very
difficult. In 2019.
I know. We got to stop with that. That was 4 years ago already.
3 years. 19, 20.
This is 23. I'm not sure you're good at math, but that's 4 years.
4. All right, 4 years.
It's that's the other
thing. He got better though.
Like MVP, okay, and he doesn't get anywhere in the playoffs, bro. You gotta, that's his other knock.
Listen,
when he gets to the playoffs, he doesn't do anything.
And I say all this with everybody who follows me and knows that I don't believe in that style of quarterback. I don't think it'll last. And
although you are smart enough to know you do got to run a lot.
Yeah, you got to run a lot, but I don't believe in that style.
Not the quarterback.
Yeah,
not the quarterback.
No.
You believe in a running game, but not with your quarterback.
No, absolutely not. But I just think it's crazy. Indiana, Carolina. You go and trade the assets and the talent for an unproven player with a cheap salary. Instead of going and doing that for Lamar, y'all not trying to win. Which I've always known the narrative that teams are trying to win. Nah, they're trying to pocket some money.
Well, yeah, exactly. You've got a couple of owners that just
you got a couple owners trying to win. Everybody else just pocketing money.
Yeah, they're trying to make some money.
But I also wrote that we're going to see the Hurts deal, the Burrow deal, the Herbert deal if they sign deal. Those are going to set the pace for Lamar.
But nobody has signed a contract after Watson.
Yes.
So we're waiting for
Derek Carr signed a contract after Watson.
Who?
Derek Carr.
Oh, yeah. You're right. He did sign a contract.
And Russell Wilson signed a contract after Watson. And Kyler Murray signed a contract after Watson. So, yes.
But they were the same, right? It's not but not this year is what I'm saying. Nobody has.
Yeah, I mean, no, Derek Carr signed
removed
this year.
from it. Was what I'm saying.
Derek
that was
Carr
the whole run of.
Derek Carr signed 2 after Watson.
Right, exactly. Derek Carr is definitely one, but he got a deal that is market value, right? $40 million. That wasn't anything crazy.
Who knows what Lamar's asking for? If you guarantee that man 3 years at $45 million a year, he might sign, and then the Ravens might sign him. And
we don't know that. It's the problem.
Yeah. Nobody brought him in to ask. Nobody brought him in to ask. You telling me?
Well, I told you before, they're not going to bring him in when they know Baltimore can match it. So unless you're doing
done it before with other players.
I know, but those other players aren't asking for fully guaranteed contracts, so then you can put some poison.
He's not asking for fully guaranteed contract. That's the myth that's put out there, and he addressed that.
He's certainly asking for a lot of guarantees, Omar.
He is.
It might not be 100%, but who knows if it's 90 or 80 or something.
Hey, if Russell Wilson got 130, I believe it's 134. Lamar should get that, but I'm who knows what he's asking for and what he will accept. But nobody even brought him in. Nobody brought him in. 3 weeks, nobody brought him in. Have a conversation. You think Indiana, who has no quarterback and is not in a great position to draft one, got cap space, you think they just have a conversation? They won't.
Yeah, but that head coach doesn't seem to me like the kind of guy that wants to run a running offense. I think he's into having a passing quarterback.
We can make. He is a passing quarterback anyway, but he is a passing quarterback. He's also a running quarterback. He's been better in the pocket than he's been throughout his career.
He can't live in the pocket. Okay, if the day you want to call him a passing quarterback, he runs 2 or 3 times in a game for 4 or 5 yards just to like stretch a drive and convert.
First down.
Right, that's it. If he can do that, then I'll believe he's a passing quarterback. But he can't do that. He's never been able to do that. He has to get chunk yards with his legs. It's the only way it works with him. So unless you can live in the pocket, I can't call you a passing quarterback. And he can't live in the pocket. He can make the throws at times from the pocket occasionally, but he can't live there. He has to use his legs. And to me, that doesn't make you a passing quarterback.
He can't live there any less than Dak Prescott.
God, Dak Prescott's got another problem. It ain't so much about accuracy. It's about cojones, about you getting nervous in the clutch, buddy, there. I got other issues with Dak Prescott.
It's been one off season. We'll see.
Yeah, I don't know, bro. I just don't see that guy's, I don't see the W out of that dude. I don't know, man. That one I would not trust. All right. Follow him on Twitter at Omar Kelly and catch him every week here doing his thing with the essentialmovingexperts.com Miami Dolphins Exchange. Omar, as always, thank you, my friend. We'll catch up next week.
Enjoy your fare and get yourself an elephant ear.
Damn right. You know it. On my way out. Thank you, sir. There you go. Of course, I'm going to get an elephant ear. That is your Miami Dolphins, your essentialmovingexperts.com Miami Dolphins Exchange.
You've been listening to the Essential Moving Experts Miami Dolphins Exchange with Omar Kelly. When you're looking for local, home, long moving services, or office relocation, call Essential Moving Experts at 305-602-8369. Flat rates and no surprise charges. EssentialMovingExperts.com. 305-602-8369. Miami Dolphins fans, follow Big O Radio Show on all platforms and keep up with your favorite NFL team.
All right. We thank Omar Kelly. We thank our great people at EssentialMovingExperts.com. Sean does an excellent job. Stanley, yes, but Williams, who runs the organization, and he's a huge Dolphins fan, as you can see. The company colors are Dolphin colors, which is super cool, man. And they move anywhere across the country. So if you're moving from city to city, from state to state, across the country, moving your home, moving your office. And one of the things they do really cool, let's say you're moving from, I don't know, New York to Illinois, and your stuff isn't ready yet. Your house in Illinois that you're building or whatever is not ready yet. It's not going to be ready for a couple of weeks. Sean can actually take it to the warehouse and hold it for a couple of weeks for you. They will hold your property up to a month just in case in the middle of a move to kind of help you out. That's part of their service. That is just absolutely amazing, because sometimes people move and they move an office, offices from one place to another, and then the new place isn't ready yet. Takes a couple days or a week or something, and they hold the stuff for them and help them out. And they're stationed in Daytona, but they work the entire country. So please reach out to the great people at Essential Moving Experts. Great sponsors of our program, big-time Dolphin fans. And tell Sean that I sent you, man. They're good people. Jam Santos says, Watson, given that fully guaranteed $230 million deal screwed the QB market, owners want to nip it in the bud. Just saying. Exactly. And unfortunately, Lamar is the guy that gets it. He's the guy that has to deal with it because he's the one that wants a fully guaranteed contract. Derek Carr did not get a fully guaranteed contract. And, neither Mahomes doesn't have a fully guaranteed contract. They all have a certain portion of their contracts guaranteed, but not fully guaranteed. And that's the problem. And you can't keep saying, I don't want a fully guaranteed. Well, then what do you want, bro? I'm only asking for 80%. Well, this is why you got to get an agent. So you don't look like an idiot negotiating in public and arguing with people on Twitter. It's just really, it's king-size stupidity from what I've seen from Lamar Jackson. Great young man, but boy, you couldn't mishandle your career more than you have right now. Anyway, what else do we have going on in the world of sports besides Lamar Jackson mishandling everything going on? We have the owners now are thinking about adding a second Thursday night game to some teams later on in the season where they can flex them in. I got to tell you something. This is an absolutely terrible idea, but it constantly shows how the NFL does not care about player safety, because you can't tell me you care about player safety and this is the kind of crap that you're pulling. What are you going to do? Flex out a team later in the season? What are you going to give them, a week or two ahead of time notice so they can do that? And then what about the fans? I mean, they constantly show that they don't care about you guys. And we tell you all the time, ticket prices don't mean crap to them. It's TV revenue and suite revenue and commercials. That's it. That's where they make their money. What you do in the arena in basketball is just icing on the cake for them. What you do in football, sitting in your seats, that's just icing on the cake for them. It's not important. That they're going to screw you over, that you have a chance to go see a game on Sunday. Now they moved it to a Thursday when you're working. And then what are you going to do? Cancel your plane ticket, cancel your hotel, and then you've got to reserve everything else and do it again and late notice. And as you all know, if you want to get an airplane flight at short notice, that's not going to be cheap. They don't care about the fans, and they don't care about player safety. They can try to tell you anything they want. If you want to be stupid enough to believe it, you go ahead and believe it. You know, some of you are in denial about how bad our economy is and how bad our dollar is. I had some guy I tweeted out, and, you know, sometimes it's some of us, maybe we don't have a realistic approach of what's actually going on. And, you know, obviously you guys know I'm a big Bitcoin guy many times over. And I about how it's crumbling before our eyes and getting weaker every day. And so I tweeted out two things that happened for news in the international world. And it goes to show you how people sometimes just believe they want to believe. And I'll give you the example here. Let me make sure I read it right. Okay. Today, China and France completed their first LNG gas trade using Chinese yuan, ending reliance on the US dollar for energy trades. That's a lot of money that's not being used, American money. The Saudis now entered a trade alliance with China, Russia, India, Pakistan, and 4 Central Asian nations to step further away from the reliance of the US dollar. You know what I had? I had a guy tell me on Twitter, this is some silly shit, but that's all right. I mean, I get it. Some of you don't really follow the world news and what's going on. And he's like, nah, not a big deal. Mostly smoke. If anything, will be good for American businesses and workers. Terrible sign is overblown reaction. See, this is a man, Mr. Cohen, who doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. We've been the world's reserve currency forever. We're losing that status. That's not good. You know, people are like, thinks that's going to be good for American businesses. No, it's not at all. And if you want to believe that having 2 Thursday night games is better for the game, no, you're completely misled. And they don't care about you, and they don't care about players. And as I've said this over and over and over again, you must have 2 bye weeks. If you're going to have Thursday games, you have to have 2 bye weeks. There has to be a bye week for everyone that plays on a Thursday night. Everyone should have the week before the bye week off, before the Thursday game. That way you have 10 days before you play your Thursday game. And then after you've played your Thursday game, you will have another 10 days to rest after that Thursday game. That gives the players an opportunity to rest and recover. It gives the fans an opportunity to get the best game possible because now teams are rested. And you maybe have a chance of avoiding less injuries. But these guys don't care about injuries. They'll just replace you with the next guy and the next guy. People are paying to go through the turnstiles. People are paying to watch on television. People are paying for the rights fees. So they don't care. The money's coming in. Doesn't matter to them. Check clears. NFL's printing more money than the Federal Reserve, actually. This is not a good thing, dude. This is bad news for the NFL. This is bad news for the game, bad news for fans. And I know a lot of you that travel. And I deal with you guys on social media all the time. I can't imagine that in week 14, you got your plans to go to whatever, and all of a sudden they tell you a week and a half before, or 2 weeks, oh, we're switching that game to a Thursday night. And then what if you have work? What if you can't? You're going on a weekend, so you can get away with it. Maybe you come back on a Monday, but now you've got to take off Thursday and Friday. Maybe you can't do that day. To me, it is so insensitive, and the lack of planning just for greed. Why? Because Amazon's pissed that they're paying billions for a crappy game every Thursday night. Well, you should have planned that ahead of time. Last time I checked, before Amazon got the games, were the Thursday night games any good? No. So why didn't you add what's wrong with the second bye week? I'm just wondering, what's wrong with the second bye week? You think people are going to complain that you're extending the football season? No. What, that it's going to hurt us that maybe there's a game or 2 or 3 less on during the weeks because you added an extra week? No. So what's the big deal? Why not add the second bye week? That way the whole schedule's made out and you're set. I don't get it. To me, it's just another sign that the NFL doesn't care about you at all. That's all. Simple. By the way, Cutter's Edge Pro, love talking about Cutter's Edge Pro. Mike or William, I want you to call William as soon as you can. Last night I was, hanging out. I tweeted out last night. I put it on my Instagram page as the sun was setting. And I'm just hanging out with my dogs and just having a good time. And I keep realizing how much I hang out in my backyard now, something I rarely ever did. I never hung out in my backyard. There was nothing back there. Just, bad grass was out there. And the dogs would go out there, relieve themselves, and come right back in. I never cared about hanging out in the backyard. Now that we've got the artificial turf, so everybody's hanging out. It's nice and clean. It's smooth. You bring no dirt, no mud, nothing into the home ever, you or the dogs. And then we've got all the landscaping, all the trees that have added all kinds of shade. And yesterday, the sun is setting, and I've got this beautiful picture of the sunset through the landscaping and all that. It was a great picture, wasn't it? Did you see it? And I got a picture of Maiden, and Bono and all that, and it's just and the Sylvester tree. And I'm telling you, when you add landscaping to your home, you also add value to your home. Front yard, backyard, we did both. Our front yard is absolutely phenomenal. I gotta do a video once in our front yard also. And folks, they do everything: outdoor lighting, irrigation, artificial grass, and they've got the lights where you can change them constantly. Over the weekend, you know what I had? I had some Canes colors, baby, for the Canes advancing to the Final Four. And I can do that. So when football season rolls around, I can have Dolphin colors. October rolls around, Breast Cancer Awareness Month, Halloween, Christmas. I can change the lights. It's like you have Christmas every single day. Call the great people at Cutter's Edge Pro. They are going to take care of you, man. I'm telling you. Go to cuttersedgepro.com, 954-472-0622. That's 954-472-0622. Go to cuttersedgepro.com. Tell them that Big O sent you. Ask for William or Mike. Both guys are absolutely amazing. They will take care of you. I'm telling you, they are absolutely awesome. And if you own a business, if you own a condo complex, a home, they can get it done. And go to Cutter's Edge Pro on Instagram so you can check out a lot of the work that they've done. And listen, I got a putting green on the side of my home. That's another thing you can add besides the artificial turf, besides the landscaping, the lighting, all of that. You can also add a putting green. That's pretty cool if you want to work on your short game. I do it all the time. I play with the wife, play with my daughter. Absolutely awesome, man. CuttersEdgePro.com. Tell them that Big O sent you. All right. Remember, you can make a donation through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show on Cash App or Venmo. Let's see what we got going on here. Okay. All right. What else do we have? Hopefully, we get Michelle Kaufman here at the bottom of the hour, by the way. Talk a little Canes basketball. She's been traveling with the Canes men's team and following them through their run to the Final Four, which is absolutely amazing. Let's see, what else do we have? Rosendo says this is going to happen 18 games, 2 preseason, 2 bye weeks, and the Super Bowl on President's Day weekend. Players cut from 90 to 53. Let's hope so. I was excited to hear McDaniel say he was sitting on a gold mine when talking about Tua. Very encouraging. You got to listen to that whole interview. You need to really listen to that interview and go check it out, how he explains everything. It sheds even more light, like, how are these assholes all reporting that he's going to get traded? How are all these boneheads saying they're trying to trade for this guy or that guy? When you listen to that conversation, you're going to know right away. Right away. You gotta listen to McDaniel talk about it, man. It's just silly. It really is. Big D says, isn't the Colts head coach the OC from Philly? He worked with Jalen Hurts, same skill set as Lamar Jackson. Yes. Doesn't mean he wants to run that. And by the way, that kid at least has improved his passing. Something that Lamar Jackson has not gotten better at. I'm sorry. Big O, what do you think of the NFL teams allowing them to play? Oh, I already talked about that, Frankie. Oh, let's see. What else do we have? Well, if Lamar wasn't asking for much, maybe they'd take a bigger chance. Yeah, something's going on there. Brett says, Big O, I wish I had better backyard. My nights spent in the doghouse would have been much more comfy. LOL. Alandino says it was an awesome interview. Yeah, you'll enjoy it, man. And to hear him talk about Tua that way, I thought that was pretty awesome. If they're still saying that and trying to move on from Tua after watching that McDaniel video, nothing will change their mind. No, I mean, Ray, the amazing part is I don't know how they were still saying it anyways when all the proof was that they were riding with the dude. But you are correct. If you watch that video, you have to think, wow, did I get a lot of bad information? Or I was just, passing on bad information on purpose just to get my name out there and stir shit up, which is, what your little YouTubers do out there that have zero connections and they say they have insight and all that kind of stuff. That you guys send me all that crap on DM. I don't know why none of these YouTubers have any connections. Come on, man. Like, I don't know why you guys even send me that kind of stuff. It's like, the guy's a YouTuber. He's not a media member. Where's he going to get any insight? I see him hanging around with players or agents or front office people? No. But you guys keep retweeting and send me that garbage, which is just absolutely foolish. 7th grade, I got to see my favorite player, Tracy McGrady, play. If he decided to rest, I would have been devastated. Sadly, he got into a fight with Bobby Jackson, but at least I saw him play. LOL. Big O Poopart seems like he thinks the front office wants to trade Tua. No, he's already said that that they're not trading him. What he thinks is that they'll continue to, say it no matter what, which is true, because they are irresponsible like that. Andrea, right? Okay. No, because, there used to be a show called 90210, and there was an Andrea on there, but she hated to be called Andrea. She would go, it's Andrea. So I wasn't sure if you were going to pull an Andrea on me. Have you heard about that? Nobody's ever told you that? Huh? Okay. All right. So, yeah, Andrea. Okay, what are we bringing here? Oh, the banana pudding. Oh. Oh, the Miami Cuban funnel cake sandwich. Uh-oh. This is the banana pudding, okay? And you told me about this when we were cruising by the stand. And you said that this banana pudding is out of control, supposedly.
Out of control. Those were the exact words I used.
Okay. Oh, my God. Wow.
So it's homemade banana pudding made with love using Nana's secret recipe. It's the first of its kind here at the fairgrounds. It's a brand new stand, and so far it's been a hit, and a lot of people love it.
Oh, man. That is good, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That is really good. Wow. All right. Cuban funnel cake sandwich, huh?
All right, you're going to have to unwrap this.
All right, I'll do it.
Christmas present.
Okay, I'll do it. All right, so this is the Cuban funnel cake sandwich.
Yes. The funnel cake sandwich.
Oh, I see. It's got two covers. Okay. Aha. Oh, thank you. You brought
That's exactly what you think it is.
Okay. This one seems to be sliding easier.
Oh, man.
Okay, so this is the Cuban funnel cake sandwich.
Yeah, this is the Miami Cuban funnel cake sandwich. It has Spanish pork, smoked ham, Swiss cheese, dill pickles, and mustard nestled right in between the two.
Put the mic
cakes.
up closer to you, and now say it again.
This is the Miami Cuban funnel cake sandwich. It has the Spanish pork, the smoked ham, the Swiss cheese, the dill pickle, and the mustard just nestled in between the funnel cakes, and topped with a guava or mango drizzle, and it's pressed like your regular Cuban sandwich.
All right. The only problem I have with it, I'm dying to eat it. You know what gout is?
No, sir.
None of you know what gout is?
Something I don't have.
Something he doesn't have. So gout is a problem some of us develop as we get older, and it comes from either alcohol, shellfish, or meat will trigger it. Okay, it's not because you ate or drank any of that stuff too much. It's just a condition, and so it was called the rich people's disease back in the day because that's all they ate, and so then they would end up getting that condition. So what happens is your blood crystallizes in your joints, your ankle, your toes, your knee, your hips. Sometimes I don't get it in my knee or my hips, but I do get it in my ankle, my toes. So your blood crystallizes, and then it starts stabbing you.
Oh, man.
Because your blood's crystallized.
Of course.
So it's like you're stabbing yourself. So what triggers it is meat.
Oh, okay. No, don't.
So you got pork in it.
Yeah. Spanish pork and smoked ham.
And the smoked ham won't hurt me as much, but the pork will. But I just had a gout attack.
Oh, no.
If I had not had a gout attack, I would have it. So
I don't know. If you really want to risk it, we could have fire rescue on call. They're not too far away.
Unless they have prednisone and coltrazine.
I think we just ran out.
That's what I have to take to bring it down, bro. I'm serious. I just got a gout attack recently, and so I can't have the damn pork.
Well, another fun fact.
It's all right.
Yeah,
Somebody's
no.
gonna have
Yeah,
it for me.
he's having a good time. But
no, and he'll have this one too.
Another fun fact. This is from a stand called Best All Around. Their stand number 246. So Mama Jane is the one who runs that stand, and every year she comes up with a new way to put a little twist on a funnel cake. I've heard in the past
good, dude.
She had a buffalo chicken taco funnel cake. She had some crazy things going on back then. And she's usually, I'm not trying to, sway the voters into voting for that one, but they usually tend to vote for her.
Right,
she
she's
has
cutting
the
edge.
craziest and the most flavorful new foods every year.
It looks phenomenal, bro.
Oh, yeah.
I'm dying to eat it, and I can't eat it because I don't want to get, walking around limping because my foot is stiff.
Nah, don't sweat it.
So yeah, you never want. I hope none of you ever have to deal with gout, man. God, it is.
I didn't even know it was a thing until you mentioned it.
Yeah, yep. So that's interesting. You have anybody in your family has had it? Anybody older?
No,
Wow.
not at all.
Because usually everybody
they
knows
don't know.
somebody that has
Yeah.
that has had gout. Go ahead, bro. If you need, you can have, when you. Oh, okay. All right. Good stuff, man. I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. So tell the folks about some of the other things, because you remember from the trip and you're here every day. What are some of the other things that people can take advantage of here at the fair?
So with admission, today is a $5 day, and we'll be having one more next week. But with admission to the fair, all shows and attractions are included, like the Extreme. We took a picture over there at the Extreme Zone with the containers, so they could take advantage and watch the X Pogo show or the circus, the ice show. We have so many shows and attraction. The pig races,
right? Pig races.
Those are a fan favorite, and then of course they can do the food tour, which includes over 15 new foods, and they can vote for their favorite one, and they get an award from here from the fair. And we have crazy foods like the ones you just tried or the ones you tried last time, the pickle lemonade.
Right.
And then there's just so much going on. We have a pumpkin patch with the strawberry twist for those who love that pumpkin flavor,
Right.
and just so much sweets.
It's awesome, bro.
It's very fun.
Thank you so much. Huh?
How do I sign up for the food?
Well,
So-
that'll be after the show. We'll take you on a food tour.
So if you download the app, we have right in the app the description of all the foods and where you can find them.
Okay.
And then a link to where you can go and vote for your
It's a
favorite.
beautiful thing.
So maybe next time you come and you try something else, you could give us which one's your favorite.
Okay. Love it. Thank you, my brother. Appreciate
sounds
you.
good.
All right. It is time. We got to talk a little basketball. UM is in the Final Four. And this woman has been covering the University of Miami basketball team all season long and on this road to the Final Four. Michelle Kaufman from the Miami Herald. Follow her on Twitter at Kauf Sports. Michelle, how are you doing?
I've actually
Oh, wait a minute.
Okay.
There she is. There she
hear me?
is. Hello, Michelle. How are you
Hi.
doing?
Good. I've actually been covering this team for 26 years, UM basketball, 26 years since 1996. And before that, in 1985, when I was a student at Miami, that is when they resurrected the program. So I wrote a story for the school paper in 1985 that they're bringing men's basketball back to campus. And here I am.
Bill Foster?
Bill Foster. And here I am getting ready to cover the first Final Four. I have to tell you, I was out at the send-off today. They had like a send-off party for when
I
the
saw
buses
it. I
were
saw
going
the
to airport.
videos.
And it was unbelievable. I mean, hundreds and hundreds of people. Everyone was so excited. And they've sold out their allotment of tickets. They sold out immediately, the student tickets, and over 3,000 fan tickets, 700 student tickets, and over 40 former players. I just wrote a story if you want to read it. Over 40 former players are all expected to be there. So, and also football players too, like Michael Irvin and Edgerrin James, Reggie Wayne, but also the basketball players are
You talk
all
about like Dennis Burns and Eric
Constantine
Brown.
Popa, Eric Brown, Constantine Popa, Tim James, Kevin Presto,
Whoa, Kevin Presto.
Darius
I remember
Rice.
Kevin Presto and company beating Duke, right? At the James O. Knight Center. Was it Duke or was it North Carolina? Who was it that there was a big ass win back with Kevin Presto and the boys at the Knight Center? Was it Duke?
I don't know if it was Duke, but it was in the James L. Knight Center. Yeah, a lot of those guys are coming back. More than 40 former players have requested tickets and are expected to be there. And the football team is, Mario Cristobal's coming out and former players. And let me put it this way. The University of Miami has not been in position to win a national championship in anything since 2001. It's been 21 years. It's been 21 years since the football team or the baseball team won the title. And so Canes fans are ready. They are ready to party, and they love that the U is 2 wins away from winning the national title.
And let me tell you about something that I was wrong about, and I went about it the wrong way, and I see it the right way now. And I told you about this. I'm not as attracted to this college basketball as what we saw in the 80s and the 90s. But here's where I missed the boat. And here's where I'm dead wrong. The best thing about today's college basketball is that everybody truly has a chance.
Oh,
Whereas
yeah.
back in the day, that was not the case. Yeah, Villanova will sneak in, and a Loyola Marymount might make it to the Elite Eight or something like that, and you'll have a surprise team every once in a blue moon. But they didn't have a chance at all at winning. Nowadays, that's one thing that we can say about college basketball. It doesn't matter what school you go to. If you got a good coach and a decent program, you got a shot, man, nowadays.
Yeah, well, look at the three of the teams
Right.
in the Final Four: San Diego State, FAU, and University of Miami. I mean, UConn is the only blue blood in that group. And so
Right.
actually, I wrote in my story that the ticket prices have gone down because of that, because, the people were expecting, the Dukes and the, Houston and Texas both, I think, thought that they were going to make it as a 1 and 2 seed. And the Final Four is in Houston. So they were expecting big ticket sales from the Houston market and the Texas market, and knocked off Houston and knocked off Texas. So Miami killed the vibe for all the people of the state of Texas. But you know what? The Hurricane fans are going to come up in big numbers for anyway, big numbers. And we'll see who shows up for FAU and San Diego State. And, the UConn people will show out. So it should be fun. I mean, it's going to be.
By the way, Michelle, Texas people should be used to losing shootouts.
Ooh.
With the University of Miami,
Yes.
So that's kind of their MO, unfortunately. They're Texas fans. It's just the way it goes. You get shot out by Miami, man. That's just the way it is. Now, Jordan Miller and Omir are, I mean, we could talk about obviously Wong, and we could talk about Pack and all that, but I got to tell you, Jordan Miller has been so clutch.
Yeah.
It's crazy how clutch that kid has been. And then Omir is the pillar of stability for that entire team, because he plays like a big man when he really isn't that big. But man, that kid is a redwood tree trunk in the middle of that team, and he comes up with the biggest, rebounds and defensive plays, and he's helped out a lot offensively too. At the same time, just two guys that have just been just enormous, man, to this run.
Yeah, I mean, both of them. Jordan Miller, Coach L has been on a crusade for the last month saying that Jordan Miller is the most underrated player in America. I mean, he's been trying to drill that in anybody's head who wants to listen, and I know he's trying to get him drafted in the NBA. Jordan Miller came in from George Mason. Nobody really knew what to expect last year, and he was a role player last year. This year, he's become a huge player. He can do everything. I mean, he can play inside, he can play outside, he can shoot from far, he can shoot close. He's, very good at tip-ins, off rebounds, second chance points. And he's a real team leader. He's very, very smart. He's a very, very smart young man. And he plays that way. He plays really smart. He knows when to take the ball himself, when to distribute it to somebody else. And really, the whole team is very, very good at that. The thing that everyone that I've talked to, and I've been talking to some experts for another story that I'm writing tomorrow, everyone, the way they share the ball, the way Coach L has them sharing the ball is very, very unusual for college basketball. It's just, they do not care who has the ball or who's scoring. They always look for who has the open shot, and they really are so, so unselfish. So Jordan Miller is having an amazing season. Yes. And then Norchad, that guy is, boundless energy. And one of the big keys for this game is going to be whether he can stay out of foul trouble. Because, if you're the opponent, if I'm UConn, anybody who's an opponent of that team, I'm sure that one of their first objectives is to make him foul you so that he'll sit on the bench. Because if he gets 2 fouls in the first half, he is sitting on the bench. So a big key is going to be, can he play aggressive against, UConn has a guy who's 7'2" and 265 pounds, and he's 7'2". And then they have another guy who's 6'9", who's an amazing player. So they have two really, really big inside players.
And that's been the one bugaboo for that team this year. Height has been a problem for them.
Yes, height is a problem.
When that gives them issue.
Norchad does what he can, but if those two big guys knock around with him and he gets a couple fouls and he ends up sitting, that is not the same team without Norchad Omier in there. As good as the guards are, there's nobody then to crash the glass. So it's
is UConn a zone team or a man-on-man team?
Huh?
Is UConn a zone team because of that big dude in the middle, or are they more of a man-on-man team?
I think they play both. I think they play man. They have guards that like to play kind of like Miami plays. I mean, they're a little bit like Houston, where they have, they have size, but they also have guards. Texas was smaller. Houston was a little bit bigger. It's going to be an interesting matchup. It's going to be really interesting. The other thing that Coach L brought up, which is something interesting to think about, is that they're going to be playing in a dome, a football stadium of 72,000 people. Yeah. 72,000 people. And what he said is that when you play in a dome like that, it feels like you're playing outside. It doesn't even feel like you're indoors. It feels like you're playing outside because it's so big and the ceiling is so high, and that the players cannot hear the coaches at all, number one. So they've been working on hand signals. They've been working on hand signals for the last 3 days because he said the players will not be able to hear anything they say. And number two, he said that the players have to adjust to shooting with this enormous dome over them, that the atmosphere when you're shooting the ball in a regular gym, no matter where you are, it's still a gym, it's still an arena, an indoor arena. When you're shooting in a big football stadium, basically of 72,000 seats, the whole ambiance is different. And basically all the teams have to deal with it, but he was saying that the players have basically 42 hours to get used to this very, very different environment, which changed when the NCAA started hosting the Final Four. In football stadiums, it really changed the ambiance of the actual court. So that's something else they're going to have to adjust to.
The road, if they beat UConn, Jesus Christ, the road they've had to get to the final game.
Yeah, they beat, Drake was the only one that they were
right
ranked below, but they had to beat Indiana, which was ahead of them. They had to beat, they beat a 4, they were a 5, they beat a 4, they beat a 1, and they beat a 2. And now they're playing UConn, which a lot of people feel is, one of the favorites to win the whole thing. They're seeded a 4, but part of that is because they had a slump in the middle of the season. They started the season 14-1, and they were ranked like number 2 in the country, and everyone thought they're going to be one of the contenders for the title. They ended up losing 5 games in a row, I think. They had a real dip. And then now at the end of the season, they have picked it right back up. But the reason they're ranked this low and we're not seated higher is they had a dip in the middle of the season, but they've come back really, really strong. They're a very, very strong team, and they will have big numbers because UConn has a very strong tradition. They've won national titles before, and their fans, there's nothing else to do in Storrs, Connecticut. So their fans are coming to Houston for this tournament. So they're going to have the most fans. I'm sure they're going to have the most fans, but I'm telling you that Miami, I'm hearing numbers that they could possibly have as many as 15,000 from which would be a big, big showing for
Well, they got enough kids that got some cash.
Yeah.
So they can go over there, they can drive their Mercedes to the airport and take a little flight over there. I know we're all rooting for FAU Miami final. I mean, that would be
can you imagine what will the entire college basketball world, what will Dick Vitale say if a team from Boca Raton is playing a team from Coral Gables for the one shining moment NCAA basketball championship? I mean, that would just be unbelievable. It would be the strangest championship game in basketball history, no question.
It's the strangest, or it's just the start of what's the norm. And maybe that's what we're going to have to start to get used to, that, next year it'll be Fairleigh Dickinson versus UMass.
Yeah.
It's just,
Well, Coach L was saying, now we're going to have to wait and see if this is a one-off or this is really a trend, because last year the Final Four was North Carolina, Duke, Villanova, and Kansas. So last year it was 4 blue bloods, 4 big-time programs in the Final Four. This year, 3 of the 4 are here for the first time. So we're going to have to see next year, does it return back to the powerhouses or is it going to be a trend? Coach L said he thinks that, the transfer portal has had a huge impact because teams can get old very quick, is what he said. Teams can get old very quick, and you can pick up 2 transfers and your whole team dynamic can change. So he's always been a proponent of transfers. He had transfers with Shane Larkin, was a transfer. Kenny Kaji was a transfer. All these guys, Trey McKinney-Jones was a transfer. Then he had the group with Angel Rodriguez and Sheldon McClellan. They were transfers. Last year, they had Charlie Moore, who came in just one season, an amazing point guard, and he took to the Final Eight. So Coach L loves transfers. He loves taking older players, blending them into the group that he's already molded. And, so we're going to have to see. I think I just lost you. Oh, no.
No, you got me. You got me.
Do?
Yeah, I'm hearing you.
Oh, there you are. Okay, sorry. Yeah. Anyway, we're going to have to see. I'll be curious, actually, next year. Is it returning to, Kentucky, Duke, North Carolina, and Kansas? Or are we going to have a brand new collection of teams every single year? It's going to be interesting to see.
One more thing before I let you go. The ladies had a great run getting to the Elite Eight. Katie Meyer, she's phenomenal, obviously. How many people do they lose from that team? Who ends up coming back?
They only lose one. They only lose Destiny Harden. That's it. I mean, everybody else.
But she's
everybody else. She's amazing. She's tough. She is tough. Everyone else can come back. Everyone else has extra years because of the COVID. Everyone got an extra year of eligibility if they want to come back. So they could have Lola Pendande back. They can have the Cavender twins back. They can have, Thomas, and they can have, Williams. I mean,
I didn't think Haley shot well in the last 2 games, by the way.
No, she had a little. Yeah, she had
a slump. She had a slump.
She had a little slump the last couple games.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're Katie took a next step. Everyone, that was the one thing that was kind of, getting to that second weekend of the tournament. And the way they did to beat IU, to beat the number 1 seed on their home floor in such dramatic fashion. I mean, that was an amazing boost for that program, and that will carry over going forward. That's going to carry over for her recruiting, coming to next year. I mean, all they have to do is show a video of that game to the recruits and say, here we are playing the number 1 team, Indiana, on their home floor. Here's what we did, and then they played the number 1 scorer in the country from Villanova, and they were able to beat her too. They were not able to beat LSU with their coach, with their feathers and their sequins, but they were able to do everything else. And it's going to be a great boost for the UM women's program. Both of these programs.
Plus, from what I understand, they're improving the facilities too, so that would also make them even more attractive. They have the building, but they're repurposing a building for the basketball team to have an expanded practice facility, weight room, training center and stuff like that. And it's going to be equally for the women's program and the men's program. So that is going to be another big boost. So this is a big, big moment for UM basketball. It's a big moment. We'll see what happens this weekend, but even just where they've gotten so far, the men getting to the Final Four, the women getting to where they got, to Elite Eight is a really big boost for UM basketball. Who would know, right? FAU, Nova Southeastern, UM women, UM men. Who would figure that the Heat are the mediocre bunch out of the group? That's amazing. It's amazing. Anyway.
It's amazing. It's been fun. It's been a March Madness in every sense of the word.
Follow her on Twitter at Koff Sports and catch her work there at the Miami Herald like I do. Michelle, as always, thank you. Be safe in your travels. Enjoy Houston.
All right.
Go Canes.
All right. We'll talk after. Thank you.
Thank
Take
you,
care.
Michelle.
Enjoy
Appreciate
the fair.
You.
All right.
Definitely.
Bye-bye.
Always. Thank you. Yes. Enjoy the fair. All right. Let's hope she's covering a champion. Well, you know what? If I'm the Herald, right? Even if I don't want them to lose, okay? I'm just saying, but if FAU wins and UM loses, don't you just leave the writer there to cover the local team that is in the championship game? Right?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, because I'm sure they've got somebody from the Palm Beach Post following FAU, I would imagine. I don't know who it is.
Yeah, somebody up there.
I don't know. They don't have a lot left.
There's not a lot left anywhere.
Or they have they should have Tom D'Angelo on it because he's covered a lot of basketball in his life. Who is covering it for for the Palm Beach Post? I would put Tom D'Angelo on it because I don't think they had a beat person because they don't have a lot of people left in that paper. So I would think that's the guy right there. Gordon says Konstantin Popa. That's a blast from the past. Yes, it is. Well, wait a minute. Kevin Presto wasn't a blast from the past for you there? It was Kansas, not Duke. They beat Kansas. That's what it was. UM beat Kansas. Kevin Presto and UM defeat Kansas at the Miami Knight Center. I want to say it was Kansas, not Duke. See, I probably got the names wrong, but the colors were kind of close. So that's what it was. I'm pretty sure it was Kansas. I want to say. I wonder if you put Canes and Kevin Presto beat Kansas and it comes out. I doubt it, but what the hell? Because how would I find that? What you would have to go to like the history of it, right? Something like that. I'm pretty sure it was Kansas. I remember it was a big team. We were freaking out. I remember back then. Let's see. Well, this is. And by the way, when they said former players, and I threw out Eric Burns along with Brown, Eric Brown, Dennis Burns could jump through the roof, dude. He was a fun player to watch. Eric Brown was a good player too. I remember the Heat drafted him, and he went to summer league, but he really never could make it in the NBA. But I remember that a long time ago. Oh. That's it. Let me see. Is it I'm trying to find it and see if I could find it, but it's too hard to do this while I'm on the damn radio doing this. How is Sean feeling after eating all of that? He actually ate both sandwiches. He's feeling good. He's a rock star, bro. He's a rock star. I couldn't eat it because I can't. I just had a gout attack, man. I'm just coming off the damn gout attack. And so I cannot have any kind of meat right now. I got to stay from the meat and the shellfish.
It was very good.
It was good, huh?
It was
you enjoyed
real
it?
good, yeah.
Okay. There you go.
I was a little worried about, the guava topping and the sweetness, and then for some reason, just always flows together.
It balanced out.
It's like they know what they're doing.
Well, yeah.
It's amazing. Like pickle lemonade. Who would have thought?
Can you see the history of scores for the University of Miami basketball
I'm trying
team?
to look up right now.
Their almanac, because it's in their first year. I want to say it was their first year, right? Which is 85 or whatever, 86. And I want to say they beat Kansas. Because I remember like it was yesterday that we were going crazy. Like, wow, they just started the program and they beat this team. And I'm pretty sure it was Kansas now that I'm thinking about it. And it was like a shocker. Like, holy crap. Like, how could they do that? That kind of stuff. Because, it wasn't like they had star players or anything like that. I mean, they were led by Kevin Presto. The same question that people are having about Lamar is very similar to the same questions when he was getting drafted. People asked if he was going to run routes. Y'all remember that? Now it's time. Well, you're talking about when the guy from the Colts and the Carolina Panthers and the Buffalo Bills, the GM, when he said that he was a receiver. That's what you were talking about. And that whole controversy. He got it wrong, by the way. He's a running back playing quarterback, not a receiver. That's all right. Big O, will you be watching Game Bred Boxing this weekend? Don't know anything about it. What is Game Bred Boxing? I don't know anything about it, my brother. Don't know what that is, Frankie. So would not be watching because I didn't even know it was on or what it is at all. You found it?
I'm going through. I was in 85. I'm waiting for 86 to come up right now.
So it didn't happen in 85. No big
I don't
wins.
see a Kansas. I don't see
like a Duke or a Kansas, like a big
or anything like that. But back then, was there any other schools that were?
Yeah,
they lost to Duke on here. They were
Notre
2.
Dame and all that kind
Notre
of stuff.
Dame, they
no,
lost
but
to.
I want to say it was Kansas. I'm pretty sure it was Kansas. God, I'm almost positive it was Kansas. It had to have been 86 then.
No, this is 85 and 86.
Okay, so 86, 87, whatever then.
Okay. Well, yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
The following year, then it must have been. But I do remember it because we were freaking out. We were all shocked, like, wow, really? They did this? They beat this team? And so, yeah, that was cool. What else do we have going on? Let me give you a little music news today. And today in music history, as they say. Let me put that up for you guys here where we got it. Well, today in music history, had a couple of things that were very interesting in music history. One, in 1967 on this date, the Beatles worked at Abbey Road Studios on a song they called Badfinger Boogie, which would go on to be renamed with a little help of my friends. It's a hell of a change. In 1975 on this date, Led Zeppelin saw all 6 of their albums in the top 100 in the same week. Their latest record, Physical Graffiti, topped the charts at that time. What else do we have here going on? In 1980, on this date, Pink Floyd broke a record for most weeks on the album charts with The Dark Side of the Moon that spent 303 weeks on the Billboard 200. The record was previously held by Carole King's 71 Tapestry. Hell of an album, too, by the way. Carole King. 86, Australian singer Falco started a 3-week run at number 1 on the singles charts with Rock Me Amadeus, 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 making him the first German-speaking artist with a U.S. number 1. In 2007 on this date, Bono accepted an honorary knighthood at a ceremony in Dublin. And in 87 on this date, Starship's hit, Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now, topped the singles charts. And in 05, Neil Young had brain surgery after he suffered an aneurysm. That all happened on this date in Musica history. Okay? There you go. What else? Miami beat Kansas, number 16, 87-86, says Ken Helm. He says, what year was that? 88-89. Okay, so I was off by a couple of years. Okay. I thought it was earlier than that, Ken. Thank you for finding that for me. Okay. But see, I was right. It was Kansas. Because I remember we were freaking out. It was like, I still remember our Canes winning the Peach Bowl with Jim Kelly. Those of you that are old enough, you know what I'm talking about. And that was like the biggest thing for us down here. We were like, holy crap, our Canes won the Peach Bowl, dude. You know, we were like, all right, this is cool. It's just a Peach Bowl. That's nothing, you know. A couple years later, you're going to Orange Bowl and national championships and all that kind of stuff. But it's funny how you remember those kind of little moments, you know, in sports history when you've lived them, obviously. And those are those little building block moments for the programs, and you end up remembering that. And the Peach Bowl with Jim Kelly was like, anybody that lives here and lived that experience, they know what I'm talking about. We were grabbing the Herald or the Miami News, you know, and watching television and freaking out like, wow, this is pretty cool for the Canes. Because remember, back in those days, we would go to those games and it was, I don't know, 15,000 people, 25,000 people there. There weren't a lot of people at Canes games. Late 70s, early 80s at all. It didn't pick up until they started to become like a real impact team. And then obviously the city got on board because we treat the Canes like they're a pro team. You know, we don't have enough alumni base because most of us can't afford to send our kids there. So they don't have the alumni base that FIU and FAU has. That's why the day FIU or FAU, and FAU clearly is closer to it because they have a better athletic department. But if they could ever figure it out with athletics, their attendance will be amazing and their support will be amazing because both of them have impeccable alumni bases. FIU's got a monster alumni base and FAU's got a monster alumni base. And if they start to win regularly in football or in basketball, they're going to build themselves a really nice program because they will get a ton of people to come to them because they've got a lot of people that graduated from FAU and FIU. They love their university. They just can't really, support them sports-wise because they're not very good, But I give credit to FAU, a lot of credit, because they truly try. With Pete Garcia, I can't really say that FIU, they always did things half-ass. That dude's so unprofessional, it's not even funny. But FAU does, they try, man. They really try. Yes, sir. What do you got?
They beat them at the Miami Arena.
Oh, it was the Miami Arena? Was in the Knight Center?
Nope.
Wow,
I think it was the first year they transferred over.
Well, you know what? In 89, yes, that does remind me of the Knight Center, yes. Yeah, you're right. 89 would be the Knight Center.
88, 89,
would be the arena, yes. Yeah, we had games where we had 10, 12, 14,000 at games.
It was January 12th, 1989.
Yeah.
They beat Big 8 Kansas.
I remember going to either a Boston College and I want to say a Georgetown game at the Miami Arena with 10, 12, 14,000 people. I remember that. We were freaking out like, wow, dude, University of Miami is actually filling up the Miami Arena, which was just absolutely ridiculous in those days. That was crazy. What do you got here? I respect you, Big O, but I feel like you really haven't truly watched a man play football. You can question whatever you want, my brother. He's not a very good passer, so you can do whatever you want. His accuracy don't mean shit. That's why when he runs into a real quarterback and he gets into a battle, he loses. That's why he doesn't win in the playoffs. But that's all right, my man. Running is his game. Without running, he can't be the guy. So it is what it is. It happens. Panthers in action tonight at 7:30. Heat are in action tonight also at 7:30. Knicks favored by 5, by the way, in this one. I don't even know if I should turn that game on. After watching watching that Raptors game last night and that crappy ass performance, and then you gotta lose to the Knicks. Man, I gotta tell you, that would be frustrating to watch that shit tonight.
I gotta see what Ira's final things was because at one point Lowry was probable.
Does that really matter whether he plays
Butler,
or not?
So was Butler as well.
Well, Butler does matter.
But then I saw something
without
said
Butler,
he
you got
active,
no shot.
But it's gonna be a game time decision.
Who?
It's gonna be a game time decision.
Who's game
Butler.
time? He's got to play. That was just, come on, man.
Let's see. This is 6 minutes ago. Status Kyle Lowry still uncertain.
Don't care.
He'll be off the bench if he does play. He's
Don't
starting
care.
with Bam, Kevin Love, Jimmy Butler,
Okay.
Tyler Hero, and Gabe Vincent.
Yeah, that was a neck last night for Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
That was load management for Jimmy Butler last night. That's all. He took the day off because he didn't want to play in a back-to-back because they've kept him away from back-to-backs for most of the year. And guess what? I would imagine that Jimmy Butler is going to play like a maniac today, knowing that they lost yesterday. And because he's probably he doesn't want to be in that play-in game. So I would imagine he's going to play his ass off tonight. I mean, he plays his ass off every single night. But he's got a little extra juice to play tonight because you lose to the Knicks, and then you start to kind of permanently put yourself in that play-in game. And you got to do everything you can to get to the 6th spot. You cannot be in the 7th and 8th spot and end up in the play-in game. You can't do that if you're the Heat. What was that? What about Ty? Yeah. Yes. Oh, yeah, definitely. All right, we thank Matt Verderame for joining us, Omar Kelly, Michelle Kaufman. Tomorrow, by the way, Andy Behrens is set to join us on the program, so we'll have some fun with him. Remember, tomorrow we're at Hialeah Park. We're there 3 to 6. having some fun. So we'll be out there at Hialeah Park. Come on by and join us. Alan Poupart will also be on the program tomorrow. Sports Illustrated. Marcel Louis Jacques returns to the platform next week. So we'll have another one of our insiders joining us every week on the show. We've got all of that going on. Friday, we'll be at Acura, right? We're at Acura Pembroke Pines at 15601 Pines Boulevard. On behalf of Sean Stanley, we thank all the great people out here at the Youth Fair for making it nice and easy for us. Michelle, Andrea, Eddie, everybody out there making it nice and easy for us. We appreciate it. We'll see you tomorrow afternoon at 3 o'clock. Same place, same bat channel. Have a good one.